ARKBL is up about 200%, but this was blocked on our system, and quite frankly, it's still trading below the volume weighted average price, and never really tested that 650 high a day on ARKBL. I didn't even really see too many people talking about this one in the chat either. So that's it, Joey. It was a good week today in the world of small cap gappers. I ended up having one negative name on the day. That was NCPL. That was my worst negative name on the day. Otherwise, we did all right today. Not a big day, of course. Never really is a big day for me, but we try to set up the good technical setups for you guys.
That's all that matters at the end of the day, man. Nice work, Sharif. One red name. I think that's a bonus in my opinion. See you later, Jody. Have a good weekend. You're going to be heading over to the big boys. Well, she just waved goodbye, so we'll say goodbye.
See you, Jody.
I mean, it's 2 o'clock now. We can go over some trades here. SLV was pretty good, and then we had MSOS before we sent it off to the big boys. Those were our 2 better trades on the session here earlier in the day. So, yeah, I hope everyone keeps that risk tight and rock and roll. It is Friday, so don't give up all your green here today. Relax, chill out with the boys. They're going to have some solid stores and some solid trading, and stay warm.
And what do you guys think about the board now?
That's wicked.
You guys saw the interview on there. They had Brendo there, and then the interview was a background. Man, we are pumped to have this. And by the way, this new desk, almost active too, guys. So this desk is going to be like, so we can face each other. We're going to have 2 people on that side, a couple of people, more than a couple, 4 people on this side. It's going to be fantastic, man.
And Breno telling me a lot as well too, saying, hey, we'll turn around, we'll get the options activity, we'll get the upgrades and downgrades up there. I know people in the chat, I've seen people in the chat saying, hey, we should throw that up when I'm doing it, and don't worry, it's going to come to that. It's not just a pretty screen, it's going to come to use.
A very warm screen, though,
is it hot over there?
Very warm.
Oh, yeah, but well,
I love that.
Yeah, shout out to the hydro bill there.
Send him off, bro.
All right, man. No, I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. If you're in the colder regions, stay warm, stay cool, watch your favorite Christmas movie, enjoy family, enjoy friends, hit the gym, eat healthy, and work on your trading if you're looking to improve, guys.
See you guys at the big desk.
And it's so easy to let it. Yeah. Welcome back.
Crazy. We were just talking about the.
Well, we were talking about the free
stuff that you get at basically any sporting event is the same thing.
Well, we were calling out the Jays a little bit. Because so anyone, the reason I wore this vest was because the other day you guys were talking vest because Joe had a nice one on. It was like literally the only vest I had. I'm like, I'll wear it. And it was one of those like giveaways, you know, like the first 10,000 fans get it. So we paid to just have them shipped to us, like all the stuff for the year. So I have this one. But when you show the back shot, and I'm not going to turn around.
Well, he'll show it. They'll show it again.
You know the shot you guys just had of the back? And then I remember there's like a gigantic TD Bank logo on the back of my vest. And the thing about the Jays now is it's so, and I get it, they're a sponsor. It is so heavily TD Bank when you walk into that stadium on every piece.
Budweiser, I think, is a big.
Budweiser.
Yeah, there's a big Budweiser.
Just, even though they're not a Canadian.
Funny, like Rogers owns it. You think there'd be Rogers everywhere?
Yeah, it's a little bit. It's crazy. And the other thing we talked about.
But my beef is just that why not give to everybody?
Yes. These things are, trust me,
people line up for hours and hours and hours.
If you got to feel this vest or looked at it up close, it's probably worth like $1, like $2.50. You know, I'm not going to say where it's probably made, but you guys get that understanding. So why only the first 10,000 fans, man? Like, let everybody have one.
Yeah, no, I hate the lineup.
It's so cheap.
No, I hate it. The fact that it's great that you guys get it, but I feel bad for like, you know, kids go there, they line up, they're looking for the bobblehead, blah, 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 and you just get like the kids, 5 hours in line or something.
But like, you have to line up when gates open up. So the family that's going to come with their kids, already it's hard enough if you have small kids to last the whole game sometimes. And then you're going to ask those people, families, to line up that much earlier.
Crazy.
It is a little bit crazy.
Look what I'm doing on the chat here. Look at this. 100 these.
You guys said where it's made, not me.
Yeah, China.
I didn't say that.
It might be made in. Thailand.
I mean, I highly implied that. I didn't say it though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, most things are made in China or Taiwan or Singapore.
Hold on a second.
Something these days.
A guy from work. What do you mean those people?
100.
What do you mean those people? I have to. Every single time, the funniest movie made in the last 20 years is It's Not Close, it's Tropic Thunder. Why?
Tropic Thunder, yeah. I got to rewatch that one.
Years, that word has held us down.
I know, Robert Downey Jr. Blackest white guy, whitest black guy, whatever you want to say there in that one. That's a good one.
My dad still dies over that. Still, it kills him every time.
It's a good one. It's a good one. There's everyone like that, 100. Okay, we just started right here on shorting SMCI. So, I meant to tag my guy, Brian Shannon, but SMCI comes right up to VWAP. So, a name that's down today, AI is down, we've seen SMCI not momentum, but, the trend here on the stock is down. I almost shorted, actually, it was another opportunity. I mean, you want to see one of the craziest charts of the day? I mean, you can easily see it on, Oracle's kind of just downside, but this looks like almost the opposite of what Tesla did there. Palantir went for an epic move. From 186 to 178. Like, they were just kept on bumping into VWAP. Like, it was pretty smooth. We should have been on this to the short. Like, when you look back at charts, it's always, I should have done this, or I just kind of keep it in the bank and try to figure out, okay, the next time this happens, because I'm back on Monday. So it's just like, there's the move right back up, and I was like, very short, very close to shorting right here. And I was just like, I don't want to do it with Palantir. And that sucks, because that was $1.50. So I just want to talk about it. Like, I don't have it. And, we've already, I'll show you the TQQ trade I put on there. The market, I'm not going to call it the futures. I'll call it the market. I think that's more appropriate. But no, it's just this level right there, some of the pre-market levels. You could hold it up to 186, but I just think, like, starting that trade right around here, 185.50, to hold it up to that 186 into those pre-market levels, and you have a little bit of support of the 200 period moving average. Easy to say when the futures reverse as well, but, like, there it is right there on the futures. So we could have done it on the Qs. We could have done it on the TQs as well. So it just comes up to VWAP and fades back out there. So I was like, we missed that trade. That was at 117. So then I just went over and I tried to find something that was like a similar look, and this was one name that was at VWAP at this time. So I shorted there, it came back. I actually was bidding 13s, it came in and didn't fill me. Then it bounced back up, and thankfully, I know Joe just went to go get some food or something, but this is his favorite graphic. He reloaded right there, so thankfully it came back up because we actually got double the shares.
You think, is Joe seen Carlito's Way? I don't think that's necessary.
I mean, if you would asked me if Joe had pie before, I would have said yes. So I don't know what Joe's done lately, but I'm going to say no.
Because I feel like it's the one gangster flick.
I'm going to say no.
That a lot of people have not seen Carlito's Way, and it's a fantastic.
Yeah, it's one of the best ones. I mean, I like Goodfellas. I think
that's a classic.
I mean, when I was in
1 and 2
university, I had the big Scarface poster, of course. Joe, have you seen Carlito's Way before? No.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
Bang.
It's so underrated.
I'd said you had one saw that. If you like the gangster movies, Joe, go check out Carlito's Way, because that's where this is from.
Go from the Bronx.
I'm reloaded.
Yeah, so that was that. So,
but the best part, like, the clip audio is from Carlito's Way, but the image is from Scarface. Like, that's actually obviously say hello to my little friend.
Quickly put together.
OCG is halted to the downside. Mike Peter Ryder says they are short, and it's at VWAP. So look, it looks like that's a good short. This didn't have a good day yesterday, but it was having a good day today, that's for sure. And all the way at VWAP, the tap is flat, so it's 211 the halt, and 211 is the current theoretical auction price on OCG. For anyone that happens to be paying attention, Shreef's obviously going to be setting up. I'm sort of similar in terms of the only two things I'm in. They're not from earlier. It's not VWAP on IBIT, but there's a level more obvious today on this stock other than 5150. I haven't seen it. Yesterday in the morning, 5150, 5150, breakout 5150, dip 5150. This morning, fall apart, hold 5150, hold 5150, 5150 again. So it just keeps on doing the same thing. And Intel is not a VWAP thing either. This is just a scalp to the low of the day. It's also consolidated off of the same price here, but it's about $38.50. I think we are now ready to go back up to the desk and talk to our good friend Sharif, who I know, well, I'm fairly certain, has seen Carlito's Way. I actually don't know.
I like that movie, Neil, but it's a little bit sad at the end. But yes, welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, everyone. The show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. The big boys, they are locked and they are loaded. And they're ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. But the only way to get your tickers on the Afternoon Rundown is you gotta get into the chat and you gotta vote every day. But you gotta throw in that $ before the ticker of your choice, but make sure to vote. Let's look though first at all 4 major averages, and all 4 major averages are in negative territory, leading up here with the NQ, the worst of the bunch, down 1 3/4, but certainly off the lows, defending that 25,100 point area. The ES not very much better, down to the tune of 1%, trying to work its way back above 6850, but currently below that level. The best of the bunch, though, in the world of major averages is the Dow, down 0.5% after making another all-time high yesterday. Speaking of all-time highs, the Russell 2000 also breaching momentarily 2,600 points yesterday, as well as this morning on the chart, but dropping as well, like all other major averages, down 1.16. Let's look at the first ticker as decided by you guys. Tesla was very strong here to start the morning, 9:30. Got a price spike up into 463. It has come back down now into the mid-50s. Despite this bad headline, doesn't really matter. The market's digested it. Tesla U.S. sales drop to close to a 4-year low, with total sales falling about 23% year over year on the quarter, selling about 39,800 vehicles. Compare that to last year when they sold about 51,500, guys. So are these bad U.S. sales just already digested by the market and we're looking to the next thing? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think all sales for Tesla I don't think it's just U.S. sales, because I think every time we've had a headline about what's going on in Europe for Tesla, I think it's been like a similar reaction. Maybe not the same, when the price action obviously doesn't look like this every single day on Tesla, but it has been, for the most part, not caring too much about some of the sales numbers recently. And look, that's in favor of the bulls. You know, and that's been true for, I mean, obviously for the greater portion of the year. If you're going to be forward-looking and you're going to be thinking about automation, you're going to be thinking about robotics, the more that buyers and investors and whomever is trading the stock is concerned with that over current sales, then the stock is going to remain bullish. And if that becomes not true, then I guess you'll see this break the uptrend. But that's not happening right now. Tesla is pretty strong. Now, obviously today, as I said, it was you don't see this kind of price action on every single day. Like most of the times when Tesla's like giving it's one of the strongest names in the market, it'll pull back, but it pulled back, lost more than everything, went to yesterday's low, and then went back to green. Like that's wilder action than usual. Like usually you do that kind of a failed break and you're expecting to end lower when you have a failed breakout like that. So I think it's pretty bullish for it to get back above 450, but can it hold 450? I'm a little skeptical of that today. It still feels like a little bit of a false break of that high. And then next week, we should still be concerned with 435 and 420 for support levels on the greater scale for Tesla.
All right, so just quickly an update on this. So there goes SMCI. So I'm out of half now. So now we can hold. I'm actually just going to wait for some 90s, and then we'll wait for down here, and then that's the target area, 3270. We'll see if we can get out of the rest there. So we'll, if it does continue to drip down, that's sort of the target area, 3275. So we'll put like a big part of our shares down there. See if we can, so we're out of 50% now. We get the VWAP to the 200 period moving average. I am bidding 93s right here just because that's, again, like, I don't know if this is going to hold. That's 85. So we'll just get out here. If it does print me at 93s, that'll be good. We'll see if we can get that, and then we'll hold for a lower take there off of VWAP. That is Sam, Michael, Charlie investing. All right, Tesla right there. Yeah, you know, I bought some Tesla, like added to it a couple weeks ago, I guess. I can look exactly. I think it was on that day that there was automotive. I bought more Tesla, and I added to ARKQ, which is the Robotics ETF. So just like Neil said, and I said this morning, I was like, ain't nobody gonna care about these car sales. You know, when Tesla was up in the pre-market, and the only thing that I heard was like, oh man, you know, down 25%, whatever it was, year over year, month over month, whatever. But Tesla was still, we closed here yesterday at 447 basically, and we spent most of pretty much all the pre-market above that with that bad data. And then all of a sudden, it was just like off to the races. And, you know, what a great top that would have been. I could see that you might have got, you know, little bit, you could have lost here going short because it looks like there's some consolidation there with some decent volume behind it. So I could see that that might have been the push down. And then up here, the same kind of thing where you're thinking about it, and then whoosh. So I think that when you see some sort of a barcode starting to form, especially after a drastic move, and we don't really have too much news today with Tesla, that little breakdown right there, we saw Rivian get going and then still stay up here as well. So we'll wait to see, and then all the way back turns red. What a crazy situation there, like turning red and then now flattish on the day. Still up that 1.25%. But for me, I love Tesla, and I think it's a long story, and I am looking forward to trading this on Monday and maybe even now. But I would just wait. I'm short the market. Well, I'm short SMCI and looking to see if we can. You know, come back in a little bit here on the rest of the day. So I'll be looking not long, but if we get back into here, 444, it's what we wrote down today, by the way. We wrote down Tesla on the sticky note right here, long 444. So that long was right here that we wrote down. So I think that that's like, you know, a pretty legit call right into here. You know, comes back in, it spends about $2 underneath, and then pop lock and not drop it. Pop lock and pop it again, I guess. But that 444, we'll see if that comes in again. If it does, man, let's take half a unit, hold it $2, and see if we get a nice little win there. So yeah, Tesla was on my mind today. It was a long, and I just unfortunately wasn't here to take that 444. But look what happens when it gets there the first time. Hit, bounce, $2. So if you got anything out there, then you could hold that for there. That's the idea. All right, let's go back over. I'm going to say maybe Rivian. I mean, Rivian's a hot stock. If it's out of the top 5,
I think
it definitely should
it'll be there, but it might be that small capper.
Neil's got it on his screen already. OCG, guys, Oriental Culture Holding. So it had a good day on the 9th and on the 10th, but then all hell broke loose after this one got dropped or popped into 19 as a result of this headline here. Shelf offering to the tune of $200 million in ordinary shares sold off on that news at around 2 o'clock on Wednesday. The sell-off continued into Thursday. And today, a bit of a pop back up, 415 high, guys, dropping below $2, still up 116%. What's a look?
It just opened, and it is losing VWAP, and it almost, oh, wait a minute, it's at the, it is at the halt band right now. So it looks like, are we gonna halt? 187, oh, that's a, okay, oh, whatever. It's about to halt at $1.87, you're seeing it pile up, there you go. Now it's in a down halt for the second time in the last few minutes here. So if you happen to be short this, congratulations. I mean, I feel like yesterday, well, the last 2 days pretty much tell you all you need to know. And then look what happens when it, like a halt up. You don't see this very often, to be honest with you, where you have a halt up, a reopen, like it's just above $4. Reopens basically at the halt price flat, and then immediately fails an even dollar. Like oftentimes that kind of a quick little short trade that day traders would love to work out usually blows them out before it goes to the downside. But anyone that just said, well, you know what, I'm going to short it if it goes back underneath the halt price. Usually that doesn't work so easily. Like it'll test you. But yeah, obviously names like this, you tend to see once the back end starts, there's no ending to it. What was the other one? BTTC.
Yeah.
Go look at the chart of BTTC the other day and how that one continued to the downside. Like once the back end comes in, you can call it a head and shoulders, but I mean, you don't need to be a market technician to see what happened there and then that fall apart. So thinking anything but wait for your opportunity to turn makes some sense. So if you got the short, what was the low yesterday? $1. Oh, really? Yeah, like $1. This could easily see $1 again, I guess. Yeah, good look. If you happen to be caught long, obviously, yeah, it sucks. But that could easily see $1 by the end of the day.
All right, Sharif, go. Let's go on to the next name and see what we've got over there.
You were right, Sean. It is next. Rivian here, up 13 1/5. Great day for them after their inaugural AI event yesterday, where they announced a number of things. One, they're making a custom-built AI chip in-house, looking to save money and increase efficiency. Also, they're rolling out their new autonomous driving software. It's going to be about $50 a month, or I believe $4,000 or $3,000 upfront. I'll double check that for you guys. But a good day for Rivian yesterday, initially selling off after the event was done, but really catching a bid this morning, boys.
I turned on Rivian. Like I immediately, once I read Sharif's note there and saw like, you know, just that whole autonomy thing and the focus there on the self-driving and just, you know, how well that's worked out for Tesla and how that's what we're talking about now. We're not worried too much about EV car sales. The market knows that EV car sales is not the jam right now. They haven't been great for a minute, right? I mean, this is not a story of the last couple months. This is like a year. This year, they haven't been well. Rivian still losing every single car they produce, losing money on. This will help. If they can add, what was it, $8,000? No, it's $8,000 for Tesla. It's $50 a month. I know that. I heard Sharif say that number. But $50 a month, decent, decent opportunity there for them to gain some revenue. If people enjoy that product, they're adding LiDAR. You know, they're new. If you didn't buy a Rivian yet, you know, the newer models will start to come out. Hopefully, get some value. 2,500? Okay, so there you go. So I think that's a great add-on. I mean, if you can add it on to your current system, that'd be great. If not, I mean, I just think it's another reason for people to get excited about Rivian again, and I think they are. So yeah, congratulations anybody that's been in this Rivian trade. It looks like it's been working out, and there it is, right at a key level. This goes all the way back to July of 24. So we're not talking about like this summer. This is a big level here for Rivian, and you know, to me, looks all right. And I'm going to hold. The change in my complete mind was the fact that I was going to be getting out, but now I feel like we can hold. See if Rivian does give us that opportunity to get to $24. I mean, this thing IPO'd at 108. So I mean that was. I hate talking about all those kind of prices, but you know they do have memory, and it's not that we're going up there. But this name's been beat up, and I just think it needs to get sort of the faith again. You know, we saw Fisker go bankrupt, Workhorse, many other names. I don't even know where Polestar's is PSN. Is it? Yeah, I have no idea. So, oh no, PSNY must have reverse split, I guess. Yeah. So hold on a second. Let me just check out that chart just real quick. But anyways, like I put a little bit of money in Fisker, and all of a sudden it evaporated. So yeah. So there it is again, like PSNY. So I'm just saying there's going to be a couple winners here. Obviously, the EV game is not a strong one. So let's focus on autonomy, and that's what they're doing. So I got to say my hats off to Rivian and RJ there, and hopefully they can right the ship. And I think it's starting to get that way with a focus on something other than their cars. So
yeah, it looks like a good pivot for them. The only possible, there's not much to add except for the only thing you can say negative here is that it hasn't closed above 19 on the daily chart. So like while it is breaking this level out, it didn't actually yet. I mean, it could easily do so. We have like an hour and a half to go. So you could close above 19 and then you're really starting to confirm the breakout. But for now, it is technically a wick off this 19 level, and maybe look for some 17 support next week for Rivian. But yeah, it's doing the heavy lifting is kind of already done to get back here and take out the level. It just needs to now close above it.
All right, guys. Nvidia next on the list, down 2 2/3%. Despite this positive headline today that they may be looking to expand the H200 production. You'll recall President Trump allowing the export of the H200 to certain Chinese customers so long as they're approved, as long as he gets, the U.S. government that is, 25% separately. Nvidia met with Alibaba, ByteDance, and some other Chinese tech companies to gauge demand, because this is a 2023 chip that is not being produced en masse anymore. It is produced by Taiwan Semiconductor guys, so they're trying to gauge the demand before they commit to building more of these. Nvidia down 2 2/3.
Yeah, and look, that headline, that Oracle headline, which by the way, wasn't to call it. You couldn't call it all bad because it wasn't a demand issue. Why they had to push back on some of the OpenAI build-outs. by 1 year. I think it's 2027 to 28 was the headline. It really had more to do with like supply constraints. At the same time, this is what happened to pretty much everything at the same time. Like you lost the bid at 179. 179 had been a pretty good support level for Nvidia, and you couldn't hold on to yesterday's lows either. And you're still not doing so. So you're under yesterday's lows. On the bounce, it couldn't even get back into VWAP. And unfortunately, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news or anything, but everything about the recent, this recent high on Nvidia does suggest we're now starting to develop a bit of a trend down. Like the lower high is confirmed under this 190 area. If you lose 175, it gets a little bit nastier. It's a pretty choppy looking daily chart, but it's kind of a head and shoulders. You are basing down. I think we could see a test of 170 next week. And it's a lot of chip names that are kind of catching strays with it. Like it's not just Nvidia, AMD, same pattern. This is breaking down. You lose 210, you're in trouble. Sean's already showing you SMCI. Intel's breaking down. That's got a gap to fill. This could be in the mid 30s next week. So it's across the board, unfortunately. And you can throw Broadcom into this. Yikes. That's breaking the low of the day as we speak over there on Broadcom. So that headline wasn't helping things. If you're already looking for an excuse, it doesn't matter that it wasn't a demand issue why Oracle came out with that story. Everyone's still getting hit anyways.
Yeah, that was a good short. I mean, we were able to help that push a little lower there when that news came out again about Oracle delaying until 2028. But so for me, the Nvidia story can also be looked at with Alibaba. I mean, we told you we got out of a quarter of our position yesterday or maybe it was yesterday or 2 days ago at 160. Kind of got up there again, and then we just dropped like a rock again. Like when all that AI news was sort of spewing out this AM, I mean, this fell back in. So good to get out of this one. I thought that some of the talk there about Nvidia moving into China and AMD, and the fact that you can now pay that 25% sort of tax and then almost get whatever you want. I think that's what Trump's going to do. You pay $5 million, you get a visa, or you get whatever. You pay 25%, you get your stuff shipped anywhere you want. So I would say that. For me, that's bad for Alibaba. So we'll hold on to a little bit and see if it can get going. I want to be part of the China AI boon. There was some investment into China today by the government, or at least talks about it, for their chip business. So I like Alibaba. I think if there is a big story, this is going to be the right one to be in. And when all those tariffs settle down, I think you'll be happy that you're in Alibaba. By the way, SMCI, we just got out.
Another one.
And then we will watch out for Alibaba now and still like it, but getting lighter on that and trying to raise more capital. And then Nvidia is all the way back to 175, which is where I last bought this thing. So we watched it go from 175 up to 210, back into 175. This for me is a hold, don't trade ever anymore. I've already gotten out. Like, I was buying Nvidia like a long time ago, like a decade ago, like this is before all this. Remember, Joe and I talk about it all the time. Like we listen to Kramer, and it's not, I don't listen to him, but I don't follow him, but I listen to him every day. I listen to Mad Money. My father and I started, watching Mad Money when I was just a wee one there. And that's why I've been investing my own money since basically 17 or 18 years old. I've been working since I was like 12, pretty much every single summer. I was telling my kids the other day, I was like, you guys have no idea how good you have it, but whatever. I'm glad to be there for them, but they have no idea. Anyways, it's just one of those things where I come from an immigrant family, so what am I supposed to do? There it comes to the downside, but okay, long story short, Nvidia, I think and I said this yesterday, I said I think it's going to be a tough year, 2026, for all these AI names. So and by tough, I just mean like you're not going to get 30 or 40% growth like you've had in these names. You've even had more than that. Like this is from January right into here. So Nvidia was 140. It's gone up now. It's only 175. But that's still 20% or so on the year. I just don't think it's going to happen again in 2026. So for me, I like the stock. I'm not going to be dip buying it anymore unless we get a dramatic move down. I'm just going to hold what I have and work on getting longer in the financials, work on getting a little longer in other places. However, Marvell, which is like a cousin to this whole trade, is a name that I really, really like. So I'm just waiting to see. I know SoftBank wants to deploy a little bit more money in the marketplace. I don't think that rumor of SoftBank making a move on Marvell will die. I think that will be.
They have money to spend. They're going to spend.
Oh yeah.
They sold their Nvidia not just to they specifically said it. It wasn't just to invest more in OpenAI. It was also for other opportunities in the AI atmosphere or realm, I should say. I wanted to answer this question for Peter Medeiros. It's a good question. Can you guys trade your own accounts while on the show? I assume yes. Trade, no. Look, here's the thing. If you're actively day trading at a prop floor, you can't actively trade your personal account in the same names. That's an actual rule. Now, could I have on my long-term account like a stink bid in let's just say ARM or something, one that I do have out there. Right, and it's out there sitting in the market. It trades, and I've had it out there for a month, and I get filled on it, and I happen to be day trading ARM. There's no issue with that. But could you actively in and out trade, sit there on my phone in my personal account on the same stock that I'm in and out here? No, that's an actual rule violation. Whether or not you're hitting yourself, you shouldn't do it. Now, for the purposes of just being sort of respectful, I will not execute in my personal account while we're on the show, even if it's something innocuous, a stock that I'm not trading. I'll wait till we're off. Like if I'm like, oh, I'm going to sell some ARM, I just use the example because I talked about ARM. If I'm going to sell some ARM today, I'll just wait till it's the midday or wait till it's the aftermarket. There's no rule against it, right? It's more if you cannot actively trade your personal account while you're actively trading that stock or a similar stock in your PA. And that's a rule that you should, obviously, for obvious reasons, should exist. Let's get that out of the way. Oh, and then there's... Okay, I was going to read the super chat.
You can do that. The ad read doesn't really matter for right now.
Yeah, it was David's.
He always super chats.
Yeah, thank you, David, for the super chat there. Larry Davids, George Costanza. Boring Sharice breakfast routine. Trades for LT investors. Dollar Tree, Walmart, Costco, and props to Sean winning Lulu green bet yesterday. Lulu definitely green. Why were we talking about Costanza today? George Costanza. Oh, because we had. You know why? Because we had paella. That's why.
Oh, yeah, the paella was crap. Okay.
It was horribly overcooked.
Here we go, man. Thank you, David, for all of that. When the seconds count, you don't have time to wait for just treating symptoms. You have NYSE-listed Oragenic, symbol OGEN, on the NYSE, of course, is rewriting the rules of neurological care. They're looking to develop the first FDA-approved treatment for concussions. Please book a meeting with them today if you have any interest in what OGEN is trying to do. So thank you to OGEN one more time for sponsoring our show. You can go check them out on the NYSE, symbol OGEN, one of our main sponsors, for keeping it going. And
yeah, we had the.
Yes, we did.
Them on today.
Yeah, we did. We had, and Brendan just showed a picture of it. Actually, I asked him how that looked. Here, I'm going to show this image because I wasn't here, but here it is, man. There's Brendan right here. So we did have OGEN. What was the time of this call? About 12:30 or so. 12:45. So go back to 12:45, 12:45. Find out all about OGEN right here, and that's like Brendan in front of the. Yeah, that's Brendan, in case you didn't know, in front of the screen. So that's a pretty cool thing that we're going to try to do now, figuring out how we can, use all of this wicked technology that we do have. So we want to thank OGEN for coming through today, and great job there, Brendo, and what a good look that was there. Okay, Sharif, how many more do we got? One or two or what? All right, last one, let's go.
All right, guys, AVGO, Broadcom. Very bad day for Broadcom today. 11 1/3, basically trading at the lows, barely holding on to 360. But I want to bring your attention over here. JP Morgan, overweight, raises target. TD Cowen maintains buy, raises target. Morgan Stanley maintains overweight, raises target. Piper Sandler maintains overweight, raises price target. Oppenheimer, Mizuho, Bernstein, they're all maintaining their overweight rating and raising the price target. But here's why we sold off, because he did not guide. CEO Huck Tan refused to give a guide for the full year of 2026, only guiding for Q1 separately. The street is concerned about Broadcom's margins compressing as well as their CapEx, boys. 11 1/3, trading at the lows.
Yeah, it's bad timing. Bad timing for them too. Because I kind of feel like if it hadn't been for that midday Oracle headline, it probably wouldn't be, maybe wouldn't be this bad, because you would bounce, like the first initial bounce was holding the 50 period on the daily, which you would think would have a decent chance to hold, maybe consolidate there for a couple of days, around there like last time. That said, the good news is looks like there's some support in the 330s on Broadcom. I mean, it's gut check time. Like I don't think anybody, when we were talking about the symbols yesterday, like there wasn't anyone here that was terribly comfortable with this thing up here close to $420 for Broadcom. And I think it needs to settle down. Like, everyone seems to be cool with rotating away from some of the AI trade. So if you don't sound super confident, and should you be throwing shade at them for not having a full year guide? There's plenty of uncertainty with regards to what the AI spend is going to look like 1 or 2 years out. Is it fair that they got thrown under the bus there, or the CEO did, because they didn't have that full year guide? Probably not, but that's just where we're at. And ball doesn't lie, price doesn't lie. It hasn't really destroyed the uptrend, obviously, but I think you got to wait a couple of days and probably closer to 340 before liking this one to the long side. Down 11%. Quite the haircut. And it's also going to be larger than the expected move, right? So that's generally a pretty negative thing.
And this was an easy one. Like, I gave one of our friends advice to not be buying Broadcom or not be buying Oracle or anything like that heading into these two reports. So for me, it sucks because I'm hella long AI and pretty much all long tech. I mean, you guys know my positions. We have other names, of course, but this sucks. And it's really bringing a red mark on today. And it's too bad because, Broadcom was sort of known as one of those darlings, but you know what this looks a lot like? Check Palantir, check Nvidia, check anything. After earnings, check Meta. Like this, and Sharif, and this is why, I just appreciate Sharif so much for his honesty. It's just like, he had mentioned, that he maybe got involved with Meta a little bit too early and forced to put a little bit more into it than he had thought when it made it move down. And obviously Meta's bouncing back. So respect to Sharif's honesty and talking to you guys about how he's trading. It's just, I feel like that might be the case with Broadcom here too. It's not a name similar to Meta. It's not a name that I want to stay away from. It's just, I think it has lower to go, and I think you can be patient with it. And just for those of you that aren't aware of Meta's sort of decline and then bounce back, it's not over yet. There's a lot of room to go on Meta, before we get right back to where it was. But like, this is day one on Meta. That looks a hell of a lot like what happened on Broadcom. However, Broadcom was up here when they reported. So Meta was pretty close to that. And then that was day one, and then day two, day three, day four, as the spend just kept on being a problem until eventually it wasn't. And then you're able to find a good level right there to dip buy into. And whether or not, you bought on day one, day two, day three, averaging back in there, coming it back up to the 200 period, at least when you buy a good company, there are a lot of opportunities and possible stories that could hit that could get this back up. And they were a beneficiary of cheaper processing units, their TPUs, with Google and potentially just scrapping the metaverse altogether. I know they cut the 30%. So again, Broadcom, like the name, they're in the silicon, they're in networking. They are the right name. They have deals with Google. They are a Marvell competitor, so that's also hitting Marvell today. But, downside right now to Broadcom, and I just think there's more to go. So I would say be patient with it. There's the 200 period. If you want to get a little bit now today, hard to say no, you're at the 50 period, then I would say if you're buying today at 360, do not buy at 340 because if it loses that, then I do think this little gap fill happens, which brings us back to 3 bills. And then ho, 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 Merry Christmas. I think you can get a couple shares down in there as well.
I think the problem with that discussion always comes down to are you trading it or are you trying, like, what are you doing with it? Are you trying to trade and time a bottom on Broadcom? Are you not in the stock? Are you trying to own it for the long term? Are you trying to midterm swing it? Are you trying to day trade it? Because the way I see it, because whatever the answer is, that's the most important thing. Like if you're going to put a small amount into it that you only want to buy it a couple times, so you only got like 2 dip buys, then, or like maybe you already own it and you sold some at the top, and you want to buy like the 10 or 20% back in, you might only get 1 or 2 shots at that. If you don't own it at all and you're like, man, I might take 5 entries into this thing over the next few years, then if that's the case, then put 10, 20% in right now if you want to. Because you're like, I'm just going to put a small amount now. I'm going to build a full position over the next year or two. I think that's a big difference. But I'm pretty sure most people, you own Broadcom already if you own the index, and you own a pretty fair amount of it. That's why I think you got to be a little bit cautious. It's a little easier with the names that like you probably don't have exposure to. If you had no AI exposure whatsoever, it'd be easier to buy early on some dips. I just wanted to quickly, if I could, that OCG for everybody. Well, it's a penny stock again, so yeah, that's now 90 cents. So if you had the shorts or paid for locates in this,
It's still going.
yeah, it is. I'm trying to find where's the bottom on? Oh, is this the bottom?
Nowhere.
No, never mind. 67 cents is the actual low. My bad. I think I said, that was my bad. I think I said $1 was the actual low here. Looks like 67 cents is the low. That being said, it is now a penny stock. It just reopened and lost $1. So if you have it, congratulations. Ozan, then why not only own indexes? I think I'm a person who the bulk is in indexes and then have single stock risks. I like to have the base of my personal long-term investing or account, be in the indexes, just so I'm pretty secure in it, and I also have a base in some dividend stocks, which isn't as much, and then I'll have some individual stocks, which will be like the other. Usually it's about like the indexes are about 40% for me, and then I have about like 8 to 10% in dividend, which since for my age might be a little bit high, and then the rest is individual stocks. And then in my TFSA, it's a little bit different because the TFSA, the tax-free savings account's a little bit more. You can trade in and out of it, obviously. With your RSP, you're holding it. Like you don't take anything out. That's where I'd put like any of my swing trades would be in the TFSA, but to each their own. So for me, like I do like building in the index, but that's just my preference. It doesn't really have to be anybody else's. One quick note: there was a decent bounce there just now. Not that big, but a decent enough bounce. I had just gotten out of Intel, and I just saw. Oops, there it is. Decent spike off the 38 level. So if it comes back into 38.5, 38.6, I'm going to look short again. IBIT, probably just stick to what was already happening here, this 51.5 level. That's close enough to VWAP. So wait for it to creep over 51.4, or at least at 51.4 for any reloads, and then go from there. Mara might be moving. If Mara is moving right now, the Jameson, I'd be surprised. Like look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is like it fell off our level and then is only going sideways. So I would be a little surprised if Mara was moving when Bitcoin. Yeah, it is.
Mara news.
It is sliding higher. Is there news?
No, I'm saying it could be. I didn't.
It's trending up when Bitcoin's not trending up at all.
Actually, I don't even have my news playing.
Okay,
so I'll get that going there. I don't really see anything happening on Mara, but yeah, a good little name there to get involved with. We also had Hut 8 as some of these sort of mining. The interesting thing about Hut 8 is that Eric Jackson talked about it and said that it was a potential AI play as well, the infrastructure for AI. I can't remember exactly the wording on that one, but Hut 8 was something to be looked at as well. And by the way, we just we're still trying to bleed here a little bit on SMCI, and I always get questions about, why do I have so many outs? I've already talked about that numerous times. I tend to just trade, and we, can get in and out of as many shares as we want at any time, put out part fills and not full board lots and things like that. You can trade one share, as sometimes we'll have one share. Sometimes, our defaults are all different, and it's just a matter of figuring out where you want to get in and out of on this. And I don't know, just that's why. So we'll wait to see where that goes from now. SMCI right now getting lower, and I like the futures to the short side right now. We'll figure all of that out. So Google would be a big winner that I like moving forward. There was something I saw. Oh, I know what it was. You guys, someone in the chat there, Luis said it. I responded to Chris Arthur. What's up, Chris Arthur? Hope you're good. Right there. He was just saying that if I was sort of a little bit. Okay, come on back, man. We have 76s waiting right now for SMCI, which is right into here. So that's what we want to get out right there, not too far away from it. I was going to say about Tesla, you're just like, I was saying that about Broadcom and Nvidia and all that and the AI push. And I know Trump is, I think it was just yesterday or this morning or a couple days ago, that $1 trillion that they're going to be investing into AI. We talked about taking it on over from the state and all that kind of stuff, and just watching out for the regulations. And I think there is a lot of also tailwinds in the AI space. But what I'm referring to when I'm talking about Nvidia and Broadcom and all that is just my expectations for the following year, and maybe it's only the first 6 months, I don't know, is just not to have that extended huge swings or huge wins on this stock like we've been having for the last year. Like if you look up and you ask ChatGPT or something, what's Nvidia's return over the last 3 years or something like that, it's going to be ridiculous. We can just look at a chart and get that ourselves. I just don't expect to divide the last 3 years by 3 and then apply that to 2026. I don't expect that for Broadcom. I don't expect that for any of the names that we discuss here in the AI space. But for Tesla, I think that Tesla is, again, not acting too much like a car company. We've talked about that their cars have been, although I love the car, it's the favorite car I've ever owned, and I've owned Mercedes, BMWs, Volkswagens, all that kind of stuff. I have no idea what you just said there, but okay. So I was just saying that I am really, really enjoying watching Tesla talk about autonomy. And I just thought the robots, we've seen Optimus, we've seen all of that stuff, and I am, excited to see Tesla's future. And I just think that although they're up nicely this year, only 10% right there. So this is like Tesla started the year right here. If you go back to December 27th, if you bought it basically anytime in December or whatever, you're just kind of back there now. So Tesla still has a lot of runway. So if last year we had bad EV sales, we had that little tit for tat with President Trump there, we had the tariff worry, which obviously they're going to be affected by the tariffs. China's a huge market for Tesla. So we worry a little bit about that. Europe has tariffs on them now. We worry about the European markets for Tesla, but I'm not worried about the robotics side of it. So I actually just most recently bought ARKQ as well, which is a robotics ETF. So I am excited for technology. It's just not as excited about the chip space. I think I'm supposed to go over to you.
No. We've got our good friend Steve Talman.
Oh, I think he was saying David in my ear. That's why I was like, what's going on? Steve.
First of all, love to have you.
First of all,
thanks for coming on here, but whoa.
You know where we're located?
This is Toronto.
I'm so sorry. The card.
Much better. No, how's it going? Are you a fan of the Yankees or just a style thing, or where are you located actually?
I am a fan of navy blue hats that were on sale for $15. I'll be completely honest.
There we go.
I'm a San Francisco Giants fan, so
Okay.
my dad isn't happy about this either.
Okay.
I'll make you a promise here. Steve, if you come visit us on the show, I will hook you up with some Blue Jays gear. We got navy blue hats here with the Jays as well, and we'll hook you up with some gear for sure.
I appreciate that. You guys have a better logo. I'm with this. I'm with this move. How is everybody doing?
Well, I'm doing a heck of a lot better after that compliment.
Yeah, we're doing
like a walking Jays ad today.
Yeah, you sure are. So I don't know if you just heard what I was talking about there, about Broadcom, and obviously today's an important day for Broadcom, day after earnings. We see them down 11 or 12%. Actually, I haven't looked in about 10 minutes, but what do you think about all these chip names heading into the new year? Maybe if we could talk about the first quarter or something like that. I just think that the whole push right now is more on the robotics side. I like a name like Tesla. We talked about some robotic ETFs. I just want to let the chip space sort of settle down a little bit, and then maybe we can see on the next earnings, or maybe if that Trump sort of bump happens at some point, tariff talk and whatnot. But what's your opinion on, you could pick any chip name, we could talk about Broadcom. What's your opinion in the next quarter or so?
Absolutely. It's a tricky space right now. I was looking to get long Nvidia this week. It's not acting right today. I thought yesterday might have been a catch, and it was not able to hold that wick down into the bottom of the range, as of now at least. So I'm in a wait and see mode here. On one hand, I'm looking for things to long into the Santa rally, and Nvidia's at the bottom of its range, but I just can't be convinced that we're ready to go here. So I'm a little bit hesitant. I'm kind of with you on looking for longs in other spaces, other areas of tech, maybe a little more on the software side, robotics side, if we're going to do anything that we're building.
I just want to, before I throw it back over to Neil for maybe another question here, I don't think your screen is set up to share.
Oh, apologies. Let me get that
so we didn't get, everybody loves your charting, so we don't want to forget about that. But so NVIDIA. So let me just, so that's good talk there. What about the action on Broadcom today? There's a gap there between, I think it was 280 to 300. That could possibly get filled. And what the advice that I gave to traders was, just maybe for an example, look at Meta. They didn't like the spend that was associated with Meta, and the first day off earnings was nicely down, and Broadcom's a very similar candle to that. Is there a dip buy spot for you on Broadcom? What's the strategy here after a bad earnings report? We like to use the 3-day rule, give it a couple days, settle, see if it hits a level that you like, and then maybe start to nibble in. What does Steve think about that?
I mean, Sean, we are so in sync. I do the 3-day rule all the time. I consider it a post-earnings gap setup, regardless of whether it's up or down. So we are in an area of interest here into this 50-day EMA, or I'm sorry, SMA. I'm just not convinced it's ready. So I'm going to give it that time to settle, like you're talking about, that 2-3 days here. Ideally, we see a push up to kind of close flush into this, at the very least, ideally above. And we want to see kind of bottom wicks under this forming. That would kind of tell me that this is a spot to buy. Otherwise, I need to wait and see what it does at the bottom of the range. And we have this big gap here that was never filled. So it might pull an oracle and need to come all the way back.
Yeah, that's that gap area there. So I was saying, like, if you want to nibble something in today, fine. But yeah, wait, give it a couple times. So, hey, look, man, I'm glad that we're aligned on that. I think Neil wants to talk a little bit about robotics as well.
Well, I do, but Steve, you're just talking about like some other places that you might look, and also letting things settle down a bit. So last week we have the administration essentially, putting their sort of sticking their hands out and saying we want a robotics push. Everything that they've pushed or pumped or taken investment in has been a good trade. Today stocks like iRobot's down 13%, coming back off a big breakout. Serve pulled back recently. Like a lot of these names have pulled back, and my mind goes over to the way the quantum stocks would be moving around, the way some of the fast nuclear stocks are moving around. I know that's your cup of tea. So specifically here, iRobot, it seems to me like the really good chance that this potential time you will actually consolidate above the 200 here. And this could be a nice little dip buy. If we're looking at other places, why not the thing that was maybe getting forgotten about because the big story happened last week, and we can run on over to this type of runner? Because for a trade, the upside's pretty big here on iRobot.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a really nice chart in the sense that it's been basing for quite a while. You have a nice double bottom going on, and I just kind of drew out an area of interest in terms of the volume on the other side of the screen there, the left. So this is an area definitely of interest when it's coming back and testing this. What I would say is that I don't love the structure here. I think it's probably going to need to, at the very least, wait for this 9 moving average and the 21 moving average, this kind of cloud to come up. So what I would love to see is some entries in this kind of zone and to see some kind of consolidation before we make the move here. But I do like this name for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you on that because I want that. It's about 350 to 375 would give you that 200 SMA there. But look, we don't have a lot of big storylines for the rest of the year. So I want to just, in a general sense, like, what are you looking at to trade in the next couple weeks? Do you shut her down a little bit as a swing trader going into the end of the year? Maybe sort of figure out what positions do I want to have, or maybe take off. Like, where's your mindset at now that we're kind of through all of the biggest catalysts going into the end of the year?
I'm trying to figure out that same question here today because today was not doing what I really expected. Unless we can stabilize and have a strong close to the day. So it's testing my bullish breakout bias here just a little bit, but I'm totally fine with a little bit more pullback, maybe Monday or Tuesday, and then looking to get that completion move to the 700s strike that's just so dominant on the gamma exposure profiles. So that's where I think we end up this year. I'm not sure how we get there, and I have to respect the fact that we could need to refill this gap down to 675 before we really get cooking here. In terms of, sorry, that's just my, I forgot you asked about sectors as well, right? So in terms of the indices, that's kind of where my head's at. I'm looking to get long on these sectors that I think could provide a really nice catch-up push here. So you mentioned quantum. Some of the uranium basket is interesting to me, although it got knifed pretty hard today. So these are kind of areas of interest, but you said robotics. I love Tesla. I'm watching VPG as well. This is a very interesting one to me for a longer term position type trade. They're in the robotics space as well, and we just have really nice big bases on these types of names. So I love the robotics. I'm looking at the energy storage for continuation as well. We took positions in EOSE this week as well as FLNC, although we trimmed this one. But yeah, we're looking in these spaces as well.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Just quickly here, just to bring this back in, we just got out of SMCI. Our target was hit back into this area, breaking through the lows of the day. SMCI looks pretty bad there, Steve. I mean, it's continuously going lower right now, and looks like it does on the daily. Thinking about breaking through this, breaking through this $30 level right there, and then we go all the way back to the tariff lows. You like Dell or SMCI or anything in the server space right now? As I know we just talked a little bit about robotics, nothing to do with SMCI here, but a nice downside push there, and looks really bad, man. I mean, it's following the oracles of the world, and there it is. Good trade there on SMCI, but breaking a little lower. Any thoughts about this?
Oh man, that's a rough looking chart. I got to say, I pulled up the weekly and I'm seeing this bear flag right just hugging this 200 day. If you're a bull, you could argue high or low into a rising 200, but this is not how I would like to see it react. I'd like to see this weekly candle be nice and big, filling in this imbalance. And on the daily here, yeah, that is a tough look. Just trapped under all moving averages, trading into a big support level. So it could try to catch. It did find a response here, but I would not be looking to long this one in particular. Dell, I believe, is looking a little more constructive, but yeah, this kind of look means that for me, it needs to rebase. Ideally, we'd be looking for a higher low off that 200 day. And that's the next area of interest for me for a long.
All right, Steve, I got to ask you, here we go. Watch your screen right now, because it's weed Batman time. Yeah, look, I don't know what state you're in, if it's legalized there or not, but today we get some good news on this space. MSOS starting to go to the upside as we talk about classification again here. And this morning I was like, I like the short a little better than I like the long. That's not going to be right. It was right early, not right now. And when I zoom out, I guess, yeah, you can see here we're at this top of $6. We've been here a couple times right now. Do you think this is enough news to get this going? I've been trying to tell people, like, it's at this high, almost like give this 3 days. It's made these moves before and faded out every single time. So I'm going to treat this almost like an earnings play here. We got great news now. Looks like it's finally starting to break out. Stocks like TLRY and all that, I mean, they've been so crushed. CGC. Do you like anything in this space? Do you like this MSOS? And I think it's getting a little top. It's not getting toppy. I mean, we get there for one time. But I can't recommend buying it up here. What do you think about the cannabis space? Any names you're interested in, or MSOS? Maybe some technical analysis on that.
Well, you know, it's an interesting space, and despite living in California and being a fan of the product, I don't know too much about the industry. So generally, that means that I would revert to ETF trading. There's a lot of unprofitable, not the best run companies in this this ETF, so that makes me a little more hesitant. Usually, when I play this theme, I keep it simple and play TLRY. We are seeing a nice pop there off the 200 day. I gotta say that I'm not sure I like it, because the way that I've always framed this trade is the second it gets released, it's going to squeeze, and then all the new bulls are going to be exit liquidity. So I've got that kind of narrative in my head. That might not play out, but that's kind of where my head's at for what would be the meanest way for this to kind of end up working out.
Well,
you sound like people have traded the first run up in in the marijuana stocks a few years back, when that's all of our thoughts is when do you short Sundial, or just some of those other names out there. Can we pivot from maybe something and a bunch of charts that look absolutely terrible to one that looks fantastic? Like, obviously, the run that gold's been on, spectacular. Silver breaking out recently. Maybe the miners taking over. Like, I would actually say GDX is, I can pull this one up. Maybe, there you go. Maybe a little bit better as the miners have been breaking out. This is the kind of trade where at least, like, what do you have that's making fresh highs right now? Not a heck of a lot. So it's got a good trend on it. I don't think we've ever really discussed too much or often enough the metals here. But if you're looking for breakouts, this seems like a good place to go technically. Would you hide out here at all? Do you have any trades or thoughts here on gold, or specifically between gold, silver, between miners and spot gold itself?
Oh man, Neil, how much time do you have? I just wrote a whole paper on what I think is going on with silver. The thesis is playing out, so I'll talk my book a little bit here. In general, what we're looking for is a continuation of this very important trend of silver versus gold. Whoops, I'm sorry. It's sending me to, that's not what I meant to do. There we go. Silver versus gold, the ratio chart. Apologies. So
Take your
what
time,
we're going to
take
be
your
looking
time.
at is a longer term time frame. This is actually quarterly candles here. So I just want to note how long term this trend is. What we're starting to see is a power out of a double bottom base on this chart, which shows that silver is just starting to expand in relation to gold. And when you have a gold chart that's looking this constructive, I mean, heck, when you look at it like that, it's a little scarier to buy. But like you said on the daily, it's acting right. I wanted to take the trade to 400. I missed it this morning, so I'm a little sad about that one. But I think this one's got room. My big target for my swings are up in this 1.27 fib, so 435. That being said, I like other metals more. So I like the silver. We've been in the silver. We've been trading around it, but just holding a position from our ad in this flag here now. What is it? Palladium?
Yep.
Yeah, Palladium. This is the one that we got in at 130 last week. We're really liking this one. Just saw that it was breaking the trend line, so we found a really nice confluential bullish entrance here on the gap fill, plus the 9 moving average rising there. This was when a really easy trade, and when they're easy, I think that they have a lot of room. So I love all the metals. Copper too. I'm in them, baby.
As we enter Power Hour, just so everyone knows, like. Yeah, I knew you were gonna have some comments on that because when we were doing previously, we were doing the aftermarket show. I remember like the first time I brought it up, not realizing that you were gonna be able to wax poetic, off the cuff, like you had all the charts ready. I'm like, you're in silver. I'm like, okay, you're definitely a metals guy, which I think is important. Like something possibly that we don't necessarily talk enough about is day traders on the show. Look, we've covered a lot here. And obviously, we've gone from sector to sector. It's the end of the year. We haven't done our video for this yet, and I'm sure at some point we will. I don't know if it's premature for this, but if you could give a call for 2026, I know I'm putting you on the spot a little bit here, but it's kind of that time of year anyways, right? Or maybe we let you think about one the next time you come on. But if you have one for 2026, or if you want to think about one, what would it be? Just maybe a name you like, could be a sector.
Well, what about just saying run it hot? I think we're gonna pump the market in the first couple months. Okay. I'm really not sure how we're gonna process that, and I think that there could be some geopolitical stuff going on coming up around that time, around midterms, that I am going to be keeping an eye out for a potential pivot. Until then, I am full steam ahead bull until we get that 700 and negotiate that. So I'm bullish, but then expecting some nonsense. So I'm trying to make my money in the first quarter, first half of the year. That's the biggest call I have for you this week, but next week I'll have some more.
Great, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much, Steve, for coming through. All right, let people know where they can find you. Obviously, representing Trade the Pool here today. Can they find you on X? What do you want to tell all of our viewers?
Oh, thanks so much. So first off, we're going to be doing a webinar in about, I forgot what time it is. So it's going to be 30 minutes after market close. So 30 minutes after market close, webinar on all of the trades that I've done this week, a nice recap, and we're going to be talking about setups going into next week. So you can find me there, and that's my usual time every Friday. We do one of these webinars. You can also find me on Twitter at Steve Tileman. I've been bad about posting, guys, because I'm so busy in my Discord, but you can find my Discord link right there in my bio. That's where to find me.
Right, thank you, and we won't hold you against the New York Yankee cap.
Yeah,
you've already explained it, so
it's just
it is all good. All right, Steve, always your wisdom and everything is greatly appreciated here. Thank you for running through some of those, and you took some questions from the audience as well, which were some of the symbols that we were asking you. So we'll just check you next week. So have a great holiday week, and we'll catch you next time, and we'll see about those rebalances happening maybe near the end of December. So thanks, Steve. Have a great one.
Take care, Steve.
Thanks so much. Great to be back. Take care.
All right, there we go. Yeah, great to have him back.
And if you had a question for him, we'll have Steve on weekly at about this time as well. So feel free to save your question, remember it, or DM us or whatever it might be, because Steve gracious enough, like all of our guests, to give his time for sure. So 700 on that SPY. I think we all want that to happen. I'm a little more skeptical. We'll see what happens, but I don't love the price action today. Obviously, with the market, some of that Oracle blame. It's all the Oracle blame, really, because we were in a consolidative week. I don't mind if we just come to my chart for a second. I don't really mind that you were failing some of these top breaks. That's the Nasdaq here. I guess we were talking about the ES, so I can go to the ES. Doesn't really matter. I don't mind some of these top failures because you were staying more or less in the pocket until today. And then today you get like the big drop. Now, the good news is obviously you can see the ES holding on to support for the last couple of weeks, whereas you have the NQ, the Nasdaq consolidating under. That should be obvious. It should be obvious why, because the AI trades under pressure. You're just going to hurt a little bit more in the Nasdaq when Broadcom and Oracle and Nvidia get hit. So yes, some relative weakness. It's been true for the Nasdaq, but I really don't like that rollover. It's hard not to be bearish going into Monday with this kind of a setup, unfortunately. And I would say the same thing about, here's my Bitcoin chart. I would say the same thing about Bitcoin. Like the prior trend line, that shout out to everybody in the chat for saying, Neil, you like trend lines, draw this one and see what you think. Get out of here, TradingView. Draw this trend line and see what you think. Well, we broke that trend going all the way back to end of 2023, hold the trend line, broke it, and since we've done that, it's turned into resistance. And now we've lost that little 91 support. We're threatening to break 90K. Heck, we could break 90K in power hour, to be honest with you. That could easily happen. And I think we could be retesting back at least into the low 80s. So Bitcoin, that little bounce we had, you're threatening to lose the bid since. And if that happens, we could be back to thinking about that 75 area. And there have been some decent winners out there in the crypto space that might be a little bit stronger than Bitcoin. I think Michael Noss was talking about a few, and again, I don't really know many of those alternative coins that are faring rather nicely. Let's just say, I'll leave it at that. It's the nicest thing I'll say about them. But no, Bitcoin in general, if we lose 90K, I think, again, we're going to make a little bit of a dance, at least to the 80, if not still thinking about that 75.
Yeah, while we were gone there, I talked to Steve a little bit about SMCI. We've been covering, again, right at those lows. So this trade, we were getting out a little bit there, but, target hit. We tweeted that out. We've been tweeting out our position. We put it out before we even got this, or right as we got the first one, the second one back in. Lucky to get that reload, and now we are into 15% left of this trade. So far, so good right there as we look to see where the next trade's going to come from, and hopefully it's going to come soon. It's now the power hour, so we're into that right here, looking to see if we can put some more trades on for you, if anything does set up. Let me check out what's going on with Tesla. We do have also the voting mechanism. I might reset it, but let me just see who's voted for what so far. This is what we call our stock visualizer. All right, so just some of the names in here today. I'm just going to keep on highlighting this. Thanks, Fabian. Now, once I get a new toy, it's game over. So there's Rivian right there. We can now highlight them as we start to talk about it. So Rivian up to $18, say $18.61. Oracle, unfortunately, down 4.5% right there. Not a great moment for them. And some of the marijuana names, YCB. Okay, good. Lululemon's back up. I actually did not sell any of that during the midday. I just think like selling. I know it's a good day for Lululemon, and I know it's at some key levels, but it's just like selling it today when the market's getting hit. If the market's up on Monday, maybe there's some better feels for Lululemon, and maybe that does eventually get going just a little bit there. Lululemon, something that I'm looking forward to. See if we can catch that. TLRY there, Palantir still down right now, down that 2% rate. Oopsies, that's Palantir's chart today, down to 178, back upside right there for PLTR, so that's it right there. Netflix, let's have a quick, it's not doing anything. The interesting thing here is, Joe was here, now he's gone. I was just gonna ask him about Robinhood. So let me look at Robinhood real quick. So Robinhood's a story about crypto, in my opinion, and we've seen it so many times that when Bitcoin is down, when we're not feeling good about that space overall, Robinhood does get hit. Their earnings were very, very shocking. Most of their trading is done in the crypto space, and they have very little equity trading right now. They are getting, obviously, into the well-saturated, I have a feeling, predicting markets. I think Kalshi and Polymarket are where that's going to go through. Obviously, they have a deal with Kalshi, I believe it is, or one of them anyways. So I think Robinhood can make a little bit of money doing that stuff. I don't know. I think it was a little bit overstated how important those markets are going to be. Sure, there's lots of gambling out there right now, but with DraftKings and all that kind of stuff getting into that game as well, not nervous about it, but just wondering if Robinhood's going to survive on that basis. So we're going to need to have strong crypto trading again. And once you get the young, the whole idea here is that it's a younger generation that's involved with Robinhood. So if they start depositing, it's hard to go somewhere else. I was talking the story about how I was with my bank, and it's just I was like, oh, I'm going to switch to Wealthsimple, and then all of a sudden,
people don't. They just don't do it.
Yeah, people don't switch. But the thing is, you know, once my 23-year-old has a Wealthsimple account and he doesn't have any other banking. So he's switched over because he's smarter than me. But, you know, at the end of the day, I think that once you're hooked, you're into something. And that's why I prefer SoFi over all of these names. And again, the reason why I do that is because I believe SoFi, again, with the fact that they are a bank, they do have a lot going for them, and as far as that is concerned. You know, once you get that young customer, then you're not just worried about crypto anymore or the predictive markets, SoFi's credit card game, right? Like any of these things that banks traditionally offer, the mortgages, the lending, all of that kind of stuff, like,
education,
you know,
savings,
that's,
like
anything like that, right? I mean, it's all going to be a SoFi game. So I prefer this over the other two, and then Webull would fit in the same area as Robinhood to me, where you're just going to go up and down with the space. So they're down again another 4.5%. Just a fintech name, right? PayPal's been bad, Square's been bad. A lot of these things aren't the greatest, but they could all be buys. Like I don't think that the companies are, you know, dead or anything like that. I really like the companies that we're seeing right here. I just nervous about if the market does retrace. And if you take Steve Teilman's word, then he says off to the races, and he's expecting a big first quarter in the year. And I think that's about right. I mean, anybody that's sold right now for tax reasons or anything like that is going to buy it back. So I do think that some of these names that have recently been beat down, I mean, even check a Meta, check a Palantir, any of these names that I think have growth prospects will get bought the first few weeks there in January. So I could get aboard with that kind of a talk as well. Yeah, I do think there's going to be a slowdown in the fintech space as well. So, you know, chip space, fintech space, some of the names that have been real hot, I think they could cool down just a bit, which is why I am looking, you know, to get more into the more traditional side of things right now as far as banking and technology is concerned. I actually don't mind that Cisco.
I know you're talking
No,
about
I did not mention. That's a good name that you have up. Yeah.
Coinbase, their launch this morning, actually, ready to launch their prediction markets and tokenized stocks. So, I mean, at least early on, it was met really well, because this was a pre-market story, and there was a nice breakout, obviously, on Coinbase, which didn't last, unfortunately. But it's a Friday, so I guess it's not that fishy. I was about to say something fishy is happening at 270, but it's hard to say that's true, because like yesterday, 270 was a pretty good level. It's Friday. There's probably a bit of a wall here, I guess a bit of support at the 270 level being an optional price. But there's a consolidation and potential, I want to say potential accumulation happening on Coinbase around here in the mid 70 range. Like a little bit of it's dancing around the level, but we're not traveling, you know, $10 above, more than $10 above, more than $10 below. The problem with Coinbase is you're consolidating under the 200 period instead of over, which I generally don't like. Coinbase is exactly the kind of name. It's not been participating. It wasn't participating as much as you would have expected in the fintech run. It wasn't participating as much as you would have expected in the crypto run relative to some others out there. So it has a chance for some catching up to do. I just feel better if this one actually gives you the 200 period moving average. As far as this 270 level here today, I don't know, it feels as if we lose this 270, we might have a nice little drop underneath. That said, probably not going to happen without Bitcoin breaking 90,000, and this is Bitcoin right here. I just have it up. It's we're 90,100, just a little bit under that. Oh, and that OCG, all the way, literally all the way back. It's pretty remarkable. Sometimes you don't see this too often where the pre-market break, and this was at 9:30 or 9:45 in the morning. It's 65 cents. This was $4 right before we started the show. Like, I'm pretty sure Sharif was talking about this right up until the end at the high of the day. It's 313, and it's giving it all back and then some. When the back end comes on these trades or these types of stocks, game over, man. I know Mike the Rider in our chat here, Bovin as well. Yeah, great. Like, this has been a pretty nasty short. Even when it lost VWAP, $2 to now 58 cents. I don't think there's nothing worse in this price. This is some kind of an all-time low, I would assume. Yeah, this stock is, oh, no, it's not an all-time low. It looks like it's split here, so this won't even be split adjusted. Let me go over here. See if there's anything left, like level-wise on OCG. Tough to tell. Whoops. You go to a weekly. Got anything left on the bottom? No, this is all-time lows. All-time low. Like, you basically got to short the pop and then all the way back into an all-time low on the same day. That's a heck of a short, for sure.
So, people in the chat here, this is a Bitcoin name here, this ARBK.
What is it?
Like ARBK. So there's Argo blockchain. Now it's a share ratio change. Like, it was just halting like unlimited amounts of times.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it went from $28 down to $6. But then I'm reading this, it's like Argo blockchain adjusted its share ratio 2,160 to 1. Like, so that should be down a lot more. Like, I don't really know what the deal is here. So it's a ratio of its ordinary shares to American depository shares. I'm going to have to figure out more about this. Maybe you guys, without me boring everybody about reading all through this, I don't really know what's going on here with ARBK. Something about their shares were paused in London trading as well. So in London, ARBKL, ARBKL. We don't have it. Okay. Okay. Blockchain. Yeah. Blue Ocean has this name. Wow. Blue Ocean has this name. Okay. So yeah, just big time movement that now today for ARBK. So have a look there. I don't really understand what was going on there. This was basically pennies on the dollar. Yesterday, this was like a 23-cent name or so. And then today it blasts higher. What is it? BK. I know the Kathy Wood's name is ARKB, is the Kathy Wood. And as I was searching, I was like, this is not Kathy Wood's blockchain name. But there it is right there. This is what it actually looks like on a real chart. Our charts don't show split adjusted as of yet. So yeah, this name, I guess, was trading here at $300 or so. Remember, this is adjusted. So eSignal will automatically adjust the price. So it looks like they were up to basically $200 right now. Now it's down to $6, and there's a bunch of split action happening down here. It says it's a 52-week low is today. And there's the 1,000. Yeah, so one for 2,100. So I've never seen anything like that, so I'm going to pass on this one and then just try to figure it out later because I don't know enough about that, but great call out for you guys. And that just goes to show you, we've talked a couple times there about share structures and how that all works for various businesses and whatnot. Sometimes you got to be careful with it. All these splits just get too nasty. Like TLRY was like an $1,800 stock or something. Now after all the splits and blah, 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 it's $12. So, you have to be careful about all that, and I don't know enough about it.
Even in the midday, there was actually a question. I think you were at the gym. Someone actually just, in a general sense, and our community was fantastic in answering. I think the midday guys and I even popped on to answer the same question. What typically happens on a reverse split? And the truth is, quality companies or strong companies split because their stock price gets high and they want it to be more accessible to other investors. It doesn't really fundamentally change anything. The reverse split, on the other hand, is typically reserved for stocks because they want to regain compliance, not drop under $1. It's almost never good. And to the point where there's an entire hedge fund trading industry that just crushes these types of stocks because they just know that when you do a reverse split, they just short it, and 9 times out of 10, or whatever works out to. It might not be 8 times out of 10. I don't know what the actual percentage is where it works to just short a reverse split, but trust me, you probably have to go lucid here. You might have to withstand some pain, but the hedgies don't care. They know eventually it's going to come back in, or most of the time, and that's what they do. Look at Lucid. I'm not saying this will be a penny stock again, but this reverse split went up for a little bit, but the second it starts coming back in, this is typically what we see time and time again. So be very, very careful with all of those.
Lucid will go bankrupt in 2026.
I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know the time that they'll go bankrupt, but I think this stock is done. But trying to pick a time on it, I have no idea what their cash position is. To be honest, Balvin's asking about news on ASND. Not a lot of volume on this one, Balvin. You sure? This is the stock? Not really moving. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it is moving. Sorry, I was on the wrong time frame. ASND, I'm going to double check for you. I didn't hear anything in my ear at all. Nothing. There's an article here talking about the short interest has gotten to 10% recently. I don't know why that matters, but that story just came here on the news service that the short interest has gotten higher. kind of a random thing to post in the middle of the day. But it's also only done about 600,000 shares. So yeah, there's a big volume spike here, but it's done less than 1 million shares on ASND. But all I can find is an update on their short interest online.
Yeah, whereabouts, what's up, Farm Trader there? You said there's lots of Lucids in your area. I'm just wondering, I've seen maybe 2 or 3 around Toronto, and they're gorgeous cars. There's no doubt about that. But remember, the primary reason why these companies reverse split is to get into compliance, because if they spend too much time underneath $1, then they get delisted. So they did this. I think that Lucid did this for absolutely no reason. You know, they didn't need to do it. I feel like they were going down into $1. So they did it when they were $1.75 or $2 just to get it going, give themselves some time. But time is not going to be on their side, because this just keeps on getting crushed back down to the downside. So I've already given you examples of Fisker, Polestar, Workhorse, Nikola. All of that have all gone bankrupt. So I don't see, I know they have Saudi money there, and that could be unlimited, and if that's what's holding them afloat, which obviously it is, then that's great. But
that's the only thing that sets them apart from like the workhorses. And
yeah, exactly.
If not for the Saudi money, they would be the others. It's hard to predict when they could go under, because the Saudis could just decide to float them if they want,
I mean,
which is really what just keeps them up there.
I would just say, if you get out today, you'll be happy. When you look back in 6 months for Lucid would be my call. And the only EV name that I would ever like is going to be Tesla, and we've gone over that as well. I went bankrupt on Fisker. I think I put like $1,000 into it when it went down into the pink sheets at like 10 cents or something, and it went to 0. So, or maybe went to 3 cents. I think it's still around actually. So lost like 70% on that one. So bye-bye play money. But I really like Tesla. So I was just going to say, you know, stay tuned into this game here, and let's watch it go. I mean, Steve, my guy over there, he really likes robotics. So I'm in, oops, see, there's ARKB. I did it by accident there. It's ARKQ. This is the Cathy Wood ETF. And again, they're all the same, IBIT, ARK, B. The reason why we always talk about IBIT, check the volume right now. You can see that's 2 milli on this name. And if you go to IBIT, I think it's probably like 5 or 6 million. 40 million today, actually. So I think the market has chosen right there which name they want to trade more regularly. And it was ARKQ. This was a name that I'd actually, ARKQ.am, sorry. This is a name that I had bought a while ago. We used to have Andrew Rader come on the show a little bit, and I bought it before. Okay, well, it's going to take a minute to load this. I bought this name before we talked about robotics with him, but he liked robotics, 6-8 months ago, and I like it now. I'm going to switch off this symbol, because unless it's, there it goes. Okay, now it's going to work. So yeah, today down 2%. Not the greatest day today, but it's been trading, and unfortunately my daily chart I think has crashed. It's been trading well off of those lows. So ARKQ, and there probably is other robotic ETFs. I mean, you guys put one in the chat so I can find out if there are, or what other robotic ETF you guys maybe are looking at. But for me, it's ARKQ.
For those that are asking, I think Andrew,
SMCI, by the way.
Andrew's all the way. He's in Miami, I believe. Last he told us.
Yeah.
With SMB, I believe. There's a curiosity. I'm gonna have to figure out what's going on with this name on the locator. So we show you guys the imbalance locator in the early looks for anything that might be interesting. Obviously, whatever MISL is, it's some kind of it's a defense ETF. Okay, so First Trust Aerospace and Defense ETF has a $9.5 million imbalance. The thing that makes this a little bit weird is this thing doesn't trade. It's on 278,000. Like, that almost feels like this is some kind of a mistake. We'll see. We'll keep track of this, but you don't usually see that. My guess is there's something kind of fishy there. VIPS is a sell, 3.3 million. You got CNQ is a buy of 2.9 million. BMNR has been there every single day for the last couple of weeks. Up or down $1 million or $2 million, it tends to not matter. So 1.5 million to the sell side. We'll let you guys know whenever it's there. SOC sells a buy imbalance for what it's worth at 1.3 million. So nothing too crazy. There are some expected larger reweights. If I can find them for you, I just want to pull this up. I'm just going to pull it directly from tip. Instead of reading it to you, I'm just going to show you. This is from our internal might be hard to read. So CRGY is an expected buy of 14 million shares, S&P 600 Russell 2000 net flow. VTLE, don't know them, that's a deletion from the Russell and S&P 600, 7.5 million. A couple others in here, Turn. These are all smaller ones, but the big two are CRGY potentially, and these are probably Nasdaq, so we won't actually, oh, this is New York. There's CRGY, it's actually an early buy, but not nearly as big as we're expecting. And VTLE is supposed to be a sell of 7.5 million. So if you're looking for the imbalances, we might see something a little bit spicy on those too. We'll see, you never really know. Looks like IBIT's not, and Bitcoin is barely holding on to 90K. So, like I'm short here at 51.5. It's holding on to 51.10. Not really thinking add. At this point, I'm just looking for it to break down under 90,000, just to give you an idea what this actually looks like. Here's the actual Bitcoin chart, so you can see what I mean about 90,000. This consolidation, it goes right up to 90.5 essentially, and 90,000 just won't break down. So I'm just holding for a breakdown now of 90K to see if we can maybe go into the low of the day here on Bitcoin. We'll see if that's what happens for sure. Was that a second super chat, Dave? Oh, we did. Can we throw that up there for a second? I just saw that. I didn't realize that was a new super chat there, Dave. So thank you again. Monday the 15th, open price. The QQQ closes Friday the 19th, higher or lower. Oh, so you want the open price Monday on the Qs versus Friday at the close, higher or lower. Triple witching is on Friday. S&P year-end rebalancing, of course, is also on Friday. What does he got? 10-year Treasury on fire. Props to Ja Rule. Put it up. Puts it on me, not put it on me. Festival or a hammy sandwich on a beach. A ham sandwich on the beach. Oh, I'm rolling something else. If I'm on the beach, a hammy. But I'm feeling bearish. Like I'd say we're down next week based on the price action we're seeing today. I'd say we're down going into the end of next week, and then we could make it some window dressing type action. Like you never really know what the heck is going to happen the last 10 minutes on Friday on the year-end rebalancing. You're going to get some really, really wild swings that could be some great opportunity. But I'm more bearish next week too.
I mean, if you're on a beach, you might have some blizzards. But there it goes, man. It's a downside trade here. So I've only traded two names today. We could do trade recap if you want. It's 3:30 right now. I only have two trades. This trade. Shorting the market. I mean, we got out when it broke back above right into there. So we get stopped out of our last 2 or 3%. It was absolutely nothing. And I have too many outs, but we talked about all these levels and what it looks like. So we were short from jump, right? I mean, today, just right out of the gate, I was only about short the Nasdaq. That's, you know, the market right there, 55 short. It's at 52.50, man. But we did get stopped out of our first trade there, and we were negative a little bit there. Well, our first trade was red, so we were negative when we got stopped out. Then we waited very patiently, and then absolutely just nailed that one. That's the TQQs right there, so that was a good one, and going lower right now. And then the other trade that I have on board today is SMCI. So yeah, it's just those two trades for me today, and pretty good results there, obviously. As we wait to see where we go from here now in the market. I mean, heading into the power hour, we're in it now. We only have 20 minutes until these imbalances, and like I'm just again like extremely happy with the two trades that I have on board there today. This is at MISL. I have no idea what this is. Let me just click on it and see there.
I was showing these guys earlier. There's something fishy going on there.
Oh, okay.
It's defense and aerospace ETF.
Yeah.
It does zero volume with a huge imbalance.
I bet you it's miss. Something's wrong.
Yeah, something's wrong. Someone probably screwed up, or it's just like fugazi.
Okay, that's a good one.
Because
yeah,
there's no way it can't support that print. So what's
right. So I'm like glad you guys talked about that because there's definitely something up with MISL.
Although, look, it's. If it does come out that big at 350, obviously we might go over to it if it does actually show up at 350.
Yeah. I mean, if it's able to trade it, yeah, go get some microwave tilapia, everybody. BMNR right there. Someone said microwave tilapia. What's up, John? Tantrum.
Let's not do that, please.
I might have a tantrum if that's what winds up happening. All right, so BMNR right there as well. I mean, that's a sell. We
that would stink.
We talked about this sell early on this morning, and it didn't. It wasn't close to us hitting our levels, but I was like, BMNR is a sell up here, man. This is what it looks like over the last couple days with the 200 period moving average. That's a sell. And BM&R downside there. So there is some sell side pressures to that name right now on the imbalances. And then QSR, some of these names, that's Tim Hortons, Burger King, Popeyes, for all you fast food junkies right there. That is a look today as well. That looks like that's coming back in. That was one of my best trades of all time, buying Tim Hortons. And then it getting bought out. That was a great one. Okay, so other than that, like I just finished my Tim Hortons coffee, so that's why I kind of invest in that. It's just like a mental thing. Like now we just drink Tim Hortons coffee for free for the rest of our life. Very similar to Starbucks. But we tried to make the same play in Target when they came into Canada, but then they left Canada. My wife used to spend too much time at Target. Really love that. They're gone now, out of Canada. All right, so other than that, there's not much else on here right now. They're all New York names or NYSE ARCA names. So we'll wait. At 350, they'll all come through, and we'll be able to see if there's any sort of action there. Remember, as we get closer to the end of the year, this is only going to be I was just looking at the date just to make sure I was right there. Wow. SMCI just gave us another fill down there at 40, so that was going to be a good one coming back in on that. What I was going to say is that no matter what, it's the third Friday is what we're looking for. So I was just checking the date. That's why I was sort of stumbling there. This is only the second Friday. So it is the 12th, and we knew it was the 12th. I actually posted something out here. What is this? I think if I ask Google or Gemini, they'll tell me the right answer. But I posted it today, and it was like right here. Today's Friday. Today was a good day.
What was the good day?
We go 2 for 2 right there today. But, okay, it was this question right into here. Does the 12 days of Christmas start today or the 13th or whatever? My wife chimed in, of course. I told her she's the best. People say, I don't know, it's the 13th. And then someone said the 12 days of Christmas begin on Christmas Day. So I could believe that as well. It lasts until January the 5th. So I think that there might be something there. So, shout out to whoever is talking like that, because I think you might be right on that one, Northwest Sasquatch. I think I got to ask around to see. And then today I also asked everybody, what was everybody trading today, right? Let me know on that one. And we did have some good responses to that as well. Mom Spaghetti Rigetti. Okay, you know what? Let's look at Rigetti, because we talked about the quantum space and how hot that's been getting and heating up a little bit lately. SMR was heating up and then it cooled down like crazy. So that move on Rigetti, like what's up with that? Huge move on the way to the back end there. It does look like that. Oh man, I can't believe I didn't short Palantir at that price. We talked about that. But yeah, Rigetti right there on the daily chart. Looking to break out, like that's a great trade right here. Whatever that day was, December the 4th, this break right there. Now, I don't know where it opened on December 4th, but this is the kind of stuff I'm looking for in everything. Pretty much all the stocks. It's what got me longer. We talked about Lululemon. It's why I got into Target. It's why I like Disney down there at $80. There's many examples of trades that I take that look like a barcode and then a breakout and then we go, right? A very good example of that is Intel being long sub $20. It was just going back and forth for a while and eventually breaks out. So I think Rigetti's basing out and doing something now. So if this comes back into 21 or 22, I think that's a good price to buy some Rigetti. And then you just use this 50 period, or sorry, this is the 200 period as you're out. So not only is that at $18, $19 right here, but it's also part of that breakout. So that's part of the reason why I am very much pro this name, at least if we can get a little bit lower. So Rigetti, obviously for quantum, you're going to pay up. There's absolutely no earnings. You don't even want to look at a PE like that. But there is a good potential for Rigetti to get back to sort of, especially if it gets heated up. There was nothing stopping it on the way up. Everybody knew it wasn't making any money on the way up. So on the way back down, why is that all of a sudden a problem? So you got to play momentum names. And we just heard from Steve. He didn't even give a call. He just said he thought momentum into the first quarter. And so if you get...
He said 700 on the SPY.
Yeah, he was more talking about the broader market. Yeah, so
it wasn't an individual name.
So where is the SPY right now?
We're in the pocket. 680.
680. Come on, Steve. I would have given him some, for calling 700 by the end of the third quarter.
But I think everyone's pretty bearish, so it's not.
Well, I mean, I talked about. I'm not bearish about the market at all.
In the short term.
No. I think there's going to be a nice rally into year end. I am not. I am pretty.
Well, I don't mind the Santa Claus rally. I don't think we get it next week. I think it'll happen after the rebalancing. Like I think a lot of times that's the other thing. The year-end rebalances sometimes can cause like little turns in the market. especially on individual names. Like you'll get like sometimes you'll see like this really big sell imbalances on the year-end rebalances, and then that's like a great buy spot, like maybe either on the Monday or sometimes even in the aftermarket. Not that we like here, like if you take the long at real trade, like you can't do that. You can't hold overnight, but if you do pick something up that goes ham to the downside, it could be good. There was something else. My mind was going to go somewhere else. Oh, there was a brief break of 90K on Bitcoin, but we're right here, 89.9. Oh, was that 99.5? Now we're at 9.75. So it's not really falling all over itself yet. I'll discuss silver in a second. We can get to this 90K's breaking. Like it's not, like it did technically break it, you're just not really falling into the low of the day yet. So getting a little bit of a rollover in the end of the day, which we're expecting or looking for at least, I shouldn't say expecting. I want to get 50.80 here. Yeah, that's a level we were talking about earlier in the week. I remember I remember this was a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
It was right back here we're talking about the 50.80. More as support at the beginning of the week, and now we're talking about it for the end of the day support. But there was a big time pullback in silver. And one thing I will say, one of my favorite lines is, it's okay to be wrong, it's not okay to stay wrong. I like silver long pretty much every single day because it's a stock that's been going the metal's been going absolutely ham, breaking all-time highs all the time. So I've been looking to go long almost every single day if it sets up. Went for the old VWAP hold, didn't hold VWAP. Thankfully, we didn't try it again until, look, it made a trend break. Look how long it trended down. So I played a trend break just to, was able to get it back. Obviously, short would have been better on silver, but I have a bias on it, so it is what it is. But this is a pretty hefty pullback, 3% for SLV. If it gets all the way down, we'll see what, I don't know where it's going to be next week, but if it does get down into about 53, that would be a healthy pullback into some consolidation levels if you happen to be tracking it. And then Steve was talking about gold and silver as well. I threw up GDX. The miner is doing much better than spot gold recently. That's pulling back into a potential double top. So maybe the 84 level on GDX if you're following along, just to see if we can bounce off of prior highs and continue running. Because that's been the place to be a lot of times when we've had weakness in the market, is to just look at gold, look at the gold miners, look at silver, look at some of the silver miners as well, because they've been showing some relative strength. And if you're only going long, let's just say, or looking for longs and breakouts, if you've been doing tech, you got to look elsewhere now recently. So I like these. I like silver. I do like some gold as well. But we did show you guys the early look, so can again, Glenn Smith, whatever, that MISL is starting to pair off, although that would still be a ridiculous number if it came out that big. VIPs, still 3 million. BMNR still only 1.5 million to the sell side. SOXL, that's gone down a little bit. That was 1.4, now it's 1 million to the buy side for SOXL. A little surprised by that. I would not have guessed that that would be a buy imbalance on SOXL at the low of the day.
No. We'll see. There could be a little bit of a bounce back here at the end, but there's our dollar on SMCI. So, just taking out another piece right now. This was just such a good setup for me that, I actually scanned like maybe 20 stocks or so to find something like this. We missed, because I missed this there. So I was trying to find another stock that had gone up to VWAP. It wasn't here. This was 120, like it wasn't sitting here. I was still at the gym, so missed that trade. And then I was like thinking about where can I find another name at VWAP that's weak name. So we found SMCI, and there it goes. So bang on that one. And then Palantir here as well. This was one that I was debating, so now I'm glad that we got into SMCI. I was like, oh man, maybe I should have done Palantir. But that 185, actually this is $2 in the money, so yeah. And I probably would have put on the similar amount of shares. It's just a matter of where my outs are. So we had an out right there. And so this had already happened. And I was thinking about playing off of that wick right there on Palantir, 185.50. We talked about that, and I was gonna give it to 186. So get into that off of there. So we would have been like 50 cents out, right? Like if we lose, we're going to lose 50 cents. And right now it's down 200 cents. So that trade would have worked out just swimmingly as well. So yeah, just a little look there on Palantir. Let's check out some of the other names here into the close that you guys want potentially to look at. There's Tesla. We had said that we were trying to think about a long on this name, but it just never came back in. The futures are actually, railroading themselves right now back down to the downside right here, bang. But this just goes to show you sometimes there is some, good opportunities in individual names. So this might be a good time. I don't think today necessarily is a good time to buy this dip, but if you are underexposed to Nasdaq, there is a potential here. Here's the daily chart for Nasdaq. So that's a big candle, but it's just coming down into the 50-period moving average. The last time something like that happened, right here, we actually extended through for a couple days. So I would say that there is a chance that we do get maybe back into 6 bills, something like that. That could be a Monday sort of a trade idea where if it does come back in, that we think about buying there. The market is forever a buy. It's just a matter of at what levels do you want to get involved with here. I mean, we can call up whatever time frame you want. A monthly chart, I think, what was it, last month or something, I think was the first negative month in forever. I think we talked about that in November. It might have even been October. But that's a nice candle to the downside right there. We'll see what can come of it, because today you're really getting smacked around. And I wanted to go over just quickly, because now we only have 10 minutes. We have Broadcom still leaking, just leaking all the way, man, today. It's just this slow grind down, similar to SMCI. I mean, SMCI, we only have 5% left, so we're going to let that one chill for a minute. But that's leaking down, right? Oracle on a day 2 play, just same kind of thing, downside, down 4% today, was down 6% at the lows. And that was after yesterday, which was a horrible day, gapping even lower here on Oracle. I do not want to buy the dips in these names for sure. And then you get other big names that are starting to go lower today as well. Meta down 1.3%, right? Google, a name that I really like, down to 308. Wow. I was thinking 312 was a good price there. 308 for Google. That's also getting to the downside. We talked about Tesla being higher than where it was. And we also talked about our good friend Rivian making moves higher. So there is some value there in some of these names. But even yesterday, right, Apple was trying to hold out this morning, and it did a pretty good job of it.
It
but
did.
Yeah,
not
not anymore. And so now we're going to the downside here for Apple. So we do.
It was by far the best.
Yeah. We do have a little bit of concern here for Apple. So we watch out for them and say best of luck. But right now, Apple is making that move lower as well. So we a little nervous about that move. But they bounced nicely off this 275. So we don't have to worry about that until it gets into there. But yeah, I could see a little bit of rebalancing here happening in some portfolios, considering what the Nasdaq has been doing. Remember, we had Fed this week too. It's like a monster week, man. December the 10th was Fed, and that was a cut. We might not get a cut for a while. So I think the market's trying to digest that.
The other thing too is let's be real, the markets are pretty close to their highs. Typically, when you're close to highs and people sell one thing, they're still buying in the market. They're going to want what are they going to buy? Financials maybe. That's what I'd like to see.
Mm-hmm.
They're not buying OCG, that's for darn sure. Maybe you'll get some industrials been doing pretty well. So there will be we're probably in more of a rotation sense. So there will be kernels of strength. And I know Apple is tech, but for a while it's been doing relatively well on some of these days. Right? If 90,000 starts to really take hold again, because it's starting to bounce here, I'm going to get out of Vibit. But there was a good question about what happens if OCG goes to 0, which I was answering in the chat kind of half-heartedly. Well, stocks don't go to 0; they delist. Now, technically, it can print at whatever the lowest decimal would be, because I guess you can go tenths of a cent here. So it could print. It could technically go all the way down there, which I thought was obviously a low probability. Heck, that could actually, it's not impossible. This is now down to 25 cents on OCG, and it hasn't really shown too many signs of slowing down. But just keep in mind, you don't make anything unless you cover your position, of course. So it wouldn't surprise me. I don't know anything about this company or its details, but suffice to say, it's trading like it wants to go under. So there's at least that for OCG. No sign in sight, it's all-time lows. I have traded a penny stock back in the day. I actually traded something where back then it was the half cent, there was no tenth of a cent back in the day. And I remember in the morning just getting long at the half cent, and we're okay, well, just to literally take it, closing at 1 cent at the end of the day.
Yeah, not too much risk, right?
Well, it's for us, there was some risk, because technically, for us, you had to be flat at the end of the day. So if you got caught, and it went under, you're stuck, and you lose the notional value of whatever you have.
Right.
So whatever notional value you take, that's the realized loss for the day trader. But because it had been doing it for a few days and supporting it, we're well, it seems to, if you happen to get the fill, which was hard to get, it had been bouncing and printing the full cent. But OCG is a different story. There's no end in sight here. So 90,000 just ticked back above, so I'm just going to jump out here. If we're not going to get the low of the day, it was a push through 90K on Bitcoin that I was looking for, and it happens to be, it's like 5110 on IBIT. That's now starting to come back into the upside. Kalani asking thoughts on Ripple short here to the recent low. Look, I haven't looked at XRP, so let's do it right now. And yes, here at Real Trading, we can actually look. I know we trade IBIT and ETHA, but could just as easily do it on spot prices. But because I'm not going to trade it, I'll just show you here. We're just chilling out at $2. What's going to make it move? It's 343. If this was earlier, it's basically showing you VWAP resistance and a bit of a downward trend. I normally wouldn't mind this, but only 15 minutes to go, and it's not doing anything. Bitcoin just bounced back above 90,000. So that could give you some, I guess, support going into the end of the day, which would be the only thing that gets me away from it. But I generally do like this setup. Something that's weak on the day, kind of trending down, consolidate under VWAP and break down. It's just an hour too late for XRP, that's all.
We've been looking at Lululemon right there. It comes all the way back up to 211 again, right into the high of the day, and then drops off. So again, another name that I'm invested in, and just trying to get outside of tech a little bit there. So the Lululemon downside there. Everyone's telling us to go look at Tesla. So let's go over here and have a look. I mean, going oppo the market a little bit right now all day, pretty much. I mean, that was a big move there. But early on, the market was tanking and Tesla was ripping there, and then the market kind of sorted itself out, and Tesla came all the way back in, and then went all the way back up, and then finally bouncing again off the 200, holding VWAP right there on another retest at about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and then now banging it to the upside here, trying to take out some of these key levels. We'll see if Tesla does have it in it right now to do that. So I think it does. We'll see what Tesla wants to do here right now. That's 456.50 coming into play there for Tesla. I mean, we were thinking real good this morning when we had looked at, like, you know, possibly getting into all-time highs again. I still think Tesla does have a great opportunity to do that right now. But there it is now. Nice move higher into that space. I did want to look at, you know, the XLF has been something that's been hot. Oh, you know what we can do instead of doing that?
We have a super chat.
Okay, go ahead with the super chat. Yeah. And then I'm going to
it's just it's observation here from David. Thank you for the super chats again, David. We appreciate you, and I know you send a bunch of them. And look, it's not to just only answer David's questions, but we appreciate him sending the super chats in. So we always will try to address all of them. Never divorce your domestic and geopolitics. So never divorce domestic and geopolitics from your macro mindset. Eyes on Taiwan and China. TSM is a princess. TSM is getting waxed today, smoked, bamboozled, hoodwinked, whatever you want to throw out there. For sure, and we keep talking about, like, there's canaries in the coal mine. You know, this does have two layers of, it's like you say, it does have two layers of risk, right? Geopolitical risk and AI pressure on TSM. So far, it's been just like a lot of other quality tech stocks and just fine. But you also have to. Everyone talks about the market share of Nvidia and how that has to come down. Why doesn't everyone talk? Nobody ever talks about why TSM's market share over the long run has to come down. The U.S. government, one of the only bipartisan things you'll find in the U.S. government is that they don't like the reliance on foreign companies making all their chips and making all the stuff they need. They really badly want this to work out for Intel and their foundry to be able to snatch up and get some bigger clients and increase domestic production so that it's not just, and look, TSM and Samsung built plants in the US too so they can satisfy that, but that's not the same thing as Intel working it out. So you could see a bit of a shift. I think that's a ways away because there's so much spend that has to go in there. And one of the problems that Intel has is their yield's just not even good enough to produce their own high-end chips. They can. They're just not even there yet. They don't make their own high-end chips. Until they can do that, it's hard for them to bring in other big customers. So for now, Taiwan Semi they've got their share of the market, and it'll be a while before anyone puts a real dent in. But it is something worth considering in the longer term, I guess.
There you go, a little bit of a bump up right now as President Trump talking about the next Fed chair. It looks like it's going to be Warsh or Hassett. So that's what the betting market has. We've talked about that over and over again. I think it'll be Hassett. And he also saying that the interest rates should be 1%. So
no chance that happens.
You know, so that's what he wants. And he's going to be picking, you know, basically the people in charge of that. So we'll see where he gets it right now. No, there won't be. It just says should be. But yeah, you know, if he's the one picking these guys, I feel like there is.
It's kind of like a
good
he'll
chance.
say 1 so that it gets to 2, like so that it gets to a number that's more reasonable.
Yeah.
You say a crazy number, but then it gets to the more reasonable one. To the
Well, I mean, look, I think that's how he operates, right? I mean, there's so many times here where President Trump has gone ahead and said the craziest things about all those tariffs and all that, and then there's some negotiation involved, right?
So you're going from here to here, so you can get.
I think a couple cuts would be appropriate.
By the way, the Hassett odds have really changed.
Yeah, I know, because he's talking about Warsh now.
Yeah, Warsh is back up to 34%. Dude was down in the teens.
Yeah, that's gonna. If you refresh that, that's probably higher now. All right, so I just, unless it's updating real time, he's talking.
No, Kalshi. Actually, you know what? You don't have to refresh a Kalshi. Kalshi does it
doing it automatically. So this is a little bit of a look on what the market's doing today. You know, it's not all red. I mean, it hasn't been a great day. The consumer non-durables today doing really well. Some of these multinationals. We have to look at the dollar. I haven't looked at that yet. Mondelez, of course. There's Philip Morris, Procter and Gamble, Coke. We do have the market on closing balances in less than 1 minute, so we'll get over to that real quick. Amazon, Costco down on earnings, Lulu up on earnings. So, you know, depending on which stock you wanted to do there. We talked about Lulu was going to be I thought it was going to be a big winner. Finally, we're right about something. Amazon there, 1.6%. Well, first of all, we were right about Broadcom and Oracle. But there goes Broadcom down 12. This is really where the problem is today, obviously. But most of these names are all heated up, right? I saw even GE Vernova was down 4 or 5% today. They've had a huge move. You know, just looking here, KLAC, Corning down 7% there. STX down 7%. All right, 15 seconds now until those imbalances. So I've just been getting out right now. Trump's saying we should have the lowest rate in the world. So, all right, here we go. 3, 2, and 1. It's not quite yet. Here it is. These imbalances. We'll see what happens right now. 5 seconds until we get it, and there we go. They are now out. So yeah, we'll see what's the print now. INTC with a buy. So a nice little 2 million share buy. Other than that, man, there's that MISL. So there's really nothing happening on that, although that bid still looks like it's pretty legit there. So maybe something coming on MISL to end the day. TLT Apple with a bid there. We talked about the SOX L possibly grabbing a bid. So we got out. There's SMCI. Oops, there's SMCI with a small sell. We got out of pretty much all of our SMCI just before the bell. The imbalance is there. So yeah, that's it, man. Apple, BAC. I thought that was Rigetti. No,
it's
Rig.
Transocean.
Yeah, Transocean there. So,
by the way, Transocean is literally not moving on that imbalance.
Going on
It's a significant imbalance for Transocean. 16% of the day's volume. It went 1 cent. Actually, it didn't even go 1 cent. It printed the offer. It's at 418. It printed the offer at 419 on that big imbalance. And even if we wanted to play this MISL because it still has an imbalance, it's blocked because of a lack of liquidity.
That stock is rigged.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And this is reasonable. And it's actually a good feature here at Real Trading. Like a symbol like this, it's done 340,000 in volume, so that no one puts themselves. You fat finger in this, you're done because you can't even get out of this thing. There's no volume, so therefore it'd be blocked here. And then if a symbol that is blocked because of a lack of liquidity at Real Trading becomes in play and is doing a couple million shares on the day or has a news story, you put a simple request in at 8 a.m. or whenever you happen to get in. I've done it before at like 7 o'clock, and then they'll unblock it if it's in play. But while it's not doing anything, so traders don't get themselves butthurt or whatever, I shouldn't have said that. Anyway, get smoked, they will restrict what symbols you can trade, which is a great feature because you wouldn't want to get wrapped up in MISL. For sure. So yeah, nothing on BMNR. Intel being the only buy and balance. You already checked that one out. I mean, it's kind of bouncing, but Intel's down 4% today. What's Nvidia down? 3.3. What's the Nasdaq down? 1.9, so 2%. Intel rolling over a little bit. Rolling over, and you know what? How about we see 36 next week? So just go right to the last time Intel bottomed out at 19. Then go to the earnings jump here, or like it's probably actually the U.S. Sorry, it's not the earnings jump. That would have been the U.S. government taking a stake, I believe. Either way, no, this would be the earnings jump. Connect the dots. You just recently bounced in November off that trend line. I think we can retest it next week, and then look for maybe a dip buy here at $36 on Intel.
So I'm in your neck of the woods tomorrow. We've got a game in Brampton at. She got to be there for 8:15. And then we have a game early Sunday morning here in Etobicoke, so that should be good. And then I'm taking my son out to a movie. Him and his friend want to go see Jujutsu Kaisen, an anime.
That's the anime. Yeah,
it's an anime, so he wants to see that. So that's happening there this weekend. And I think tonight is pretty slow. Well, there's obviously some hockey stuff going on. And then I'm going to try to, I told you maybe the Die Hard, or trying to figure out a movie.
Die Hard, man.
Trying to figure out a movie to watch,
Die
maybe.
You already made the decision. You said it.
Yeah.
Like,
Just
the kids, they're old enough.
I think they were, 13 and 11. I mean, we'll watch the sort of the cleaner version there, but I think it'll be fine. I'm not worried about the violence or anything like that.
I'm pretty sure it's bad language. I don't remember.
Oh, it's bad language.
I probably the last time I watched it might have seen
Yippee-ki-yay, mother, there's some stuff that's going on there as well. But I mean, my kids go to public school.
That's what I'm saying. What, he's supposed to run around like fighting off terrorists? And
the worst part is this man's running around with, like, he doesn't even have shoes on in that movie.
That's the hilarious part.
And it's like he's just like stepping on all this glass. Like, to me, that's just like, I kind of go, when that's happening.
That part's not realistic.
That's not very good, but yeah.
But you know what is realistic?
Yeah.
The opportunity to trade risking someone else's money and not your own. Not being on the sideline because you have fear of losing. And that's the opportunity that Trade the Pool's trying to give you. So you can access the markets with a limited risk trading model. You get funded capital, Trade the Pool is going to absorb the losses, so you can focus on your discipline, everybody. And you hit the profit targets, and then you get to keep 70% of the profit. So no barriers, everybody, just opportunity. The revolution is called limited risk trading, powered by Trade the Pool. Check out tradethepool.com or scan that QR code out in front of you. Timed it perfectly there. And shout out to Steve. We just had Steve Talman on from Trade the Pool. I want to thank him for coming on there as well.
How do I
appreciate it. What were you looking for?
No, I was gonna say how.
You have to search for what you want.
No, it's not that. It's I want to bet. I want to bet on Warsh.
Well, you got to log. You have to create an account.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
Every single time, I've just been way too late.
Wait, what about in Canada? Anybody here in Canada? I don't know if you can do this.
I haven't tried.
All right, Fed chair.
Why wouldn't?
I'm just gonna search this. When will Trump? Who will be confirmed as Fed? Oh, Fed. Sorry, my bad. That's Fed governor this year. I clicked on the wrong thing.
Oh, it isn't available in Canada.
Yeah,
so
see?
Here it goes.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, so it tells you Kalshi is not available to residents in the following countries: United Kingdom, France, Canada. That's us. Singapore, Poland. That's a lot of places. Wouldn't it be Kalshi? Wouldn't it be easier to just tell me where you can do it?
No.
Like, look, I have nothing against Kalshi. We show them all the time. It's a pretty cool concept. I have nothing against them. But let's look at the list, man. Just tell me where you can. Not available in our country.
I just
nanny state.
Oh, there's the Fed decision. Yeah, maintains it. That's 79%. We already know about that. Those of you that are watching the show, Neil and I talk about all of that. But anyways, I was just hearing that like Warsh is now apparently at the top of this guy's list. Like it's just back and forth. Like whoever tells Trump that, they enjoy rate cuts, I think is who he's going to pick. So we'll wait to see where that goes down. All right, man, we're still $1. We just got some more fills there. We have one little piece left.
It's moving as we speak.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It will be
just got 10. It went from, it's still going.
33 to 38 now. Yeah, so that's going higher right there. So
we can't.
I would say get ready for Kevin Warsh, I would say is going to be your new guy there. But I don't know. So I'll be betting on that one. So there you go. You can mark me down for that, and we can talk about that when it's announced. Okay, so that's about it for me, man. Not really doing.
Tesla just made fresh highs.
Yeah, we just got out of SMCI there. Okay, go ahead.
Well, sorry, no, afternoon highs. My bad. It's
pretty much fresh.
I was zoomed in on my black chart because usually I'll just look at from noon or something on my black chart. So it was breaking out this local high at 56, but it did get up to 63. So it looked 2.5% on a day like today. That is because it's the only what's up today? Them in the Mag 7.
Nvidia. Yeah, Tesla. Yeah, Tesla's the only one, really. We looked. Apple was trying to hold green. It might have got back to green.
Barely. Apple is up 0.04%. So Tesla, I stand corrected, although it's very, very close for Apple. Real close. Hey, Boeing's up 1.8%.
I just want to say, I know Kevin Hassett still in the lead. What I'm saying is like if you can bet that and get 3-1 on your money. I just think that if it is a 50-50 decision, it's just like how I trade. I trade to try to put the best odds in our favor.
But you can trade Kalshi. You can get in.
Yeah, you can get in. It's already at the 39%. That's 40%.
If you bought 33,
so I just made 7%.
You can sell.
It doesn't work like that. It's more than 7%, but
yeah, you can. So there's going to be a spread obviously involved here, but you can sell 40 right now. It's still moving. But yeah, why can't we in Canada rate our MPs, I suppose?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Like there has to be some kind of a deal there. All right.
We get everything the latest.
With only 2 minutes left,
We'll be able to in like 2030.
It sucks that Nvidia is near the lows of the day, so that's never a good sign whenever that happens. Going out on the lows, not great. Broadcom as well. Just a couple earnings names. Lululemon also falling right now, by the way. LULU there. So 205 right now. Oh, maybe there was a sell imbalance for Lulu. I don't know, because there was a big wick there to the downside. I don't know. So something happened. I'm not sure if that was a real trade or not. If it was, someone got long at 202. That wouldn't surprise me if that came out. Sometimes when those imbalances hit, the volume dries up, the algos basically pull, and it can fall. So that's possible. But anyways, that's an earnings name. Up 10%. So we'll face slap that one. Really happy with Lululemon's performance, obviously. They're not really in the last half hour, but happy overall. Broadcom, Oracle, we looked at that as well. I want to check on, see if anything had happened. There's Oracle. Very, very much stabilizing now. I'm wondering if it's going to be a buy almost now on Oracle. And then Netflix as well. Still long at 96. Just averaged up into that trade, $96 on Netflix. We'll see if it wants to hold that. And more news coming on Monday, I guess, for the Netflix idea. And Warner Brothers Discovery, look, they took out Discovery. These guys took on so much debt, which is why I think they might like the cash offer. But at the end of the day, Warner Brothers we talked about at the beginning of this week, bang, 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 just straight upside. Every day has been a green day there for Warner Brothers. So potentially something there. But
I just don't think you get more than 30. So why not ring the register now?
Yeah, I think that's a great call.
It's a weird thing.
It's going to take a while for them to settle it and everything. So
that's not closing till most optimistic case would be at the middle of next year, and even that's probably unlikely.
Even right here, look, there's big size right there at $30 as well. They got to get through 6 million shares right there on the offer. All right, less than 10 seconds to go right now. I want to thank all of our sponsors today. And here we go, 3, 2, and 1. There it is, man. The Nasdaq goes out down 2%. Potentially take advantage of that today if you're dip buying any indexes. Nasdaq down, big time red day, I would think today. Nasdaq down 1.1%. With that recent talk from Trump, maybe the IWM got a little bit of a bump up. Let's double check it. We didn't look at this at all today. No, down 1.5% for the IWM as well. So that got hit just as aggressively as the rest of the markets. And then the one that Mr. Donald Trump likes to talk about the most here, the Dow Jones today probably held out a little bit better than the rest. Yes, only down 0.51. Energy names in here, bank names in here, as banks and energy held out okay today. It was the broader market that lost it. The S&P was down 1%, and then the Nasdaq is where all the winners have come from lately. But last couple weeks, some of the losers, Google down 1% as well. But yeah, pretty good week overall, man. I mean. You're welcome, Fluffy.
Yeah, it might not be the greatest week for the market, but it was a good week for trading for sure. And like you said, it was a double whammy today. We got a double whammy from Broadcom, reaction to earnings, not the earnings themselves, reaction to earnings, and of course that Oracle headline. What are you going to do? Like everyone was calling Oracle the canary in the coal mine, and then you have a delay by 1 year of some OpenAI projects from them. It was never going to be a good thing at all, and that was that broke the back today for the market. Although Oracle, hey, look at that. Oracle actually bounced back a little bit. That was that headline.
Just so everybody can sleep well over the weekend, which I'm sure you will. This is a monthly chart of the Nasdaq. So, like there's that. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight up months. We had a red month last month, and then we'll see what's going to be developing this month right here as well. It could be, this could be a doji where it does spark a downside push. So we'll see if that comes in right there. But, this is the Nasdaq. So, it's doing quite well for itself. And you can even look at the SPY or anything. Oops, not SPY in the S&P 500. Very, very similar trajectory. Obviously, their last month was barely red, but looks like it was red anyways. So this is what the market looks like. So don't stress out too much about these most recent moves down. Take advantage of inside those monthly candles and start buying some dips if you have some spare cash around. We'll discuss that obviously next week as well as we go. Yeah, the Buffalo Bills. I mean, like I was saying, man, this is their year. They have to win this year or it's game over because the Patriots are almost already better than them.
The Patriots are overrated.
They're catching up.
Patriots have 2 good wins. The thing about the NFL, you have a 4th place schedule for a reason. We saw this with the Washington Commanders last year. Nothing against the Commanders, but it's real. They basically had an easy schedule, won a bunch of games, went to the playoffs. This year they had a schedule for a top team, and they got waxed
I think the Bills have had the third easiest schedule in the NFL.
No, I'm not saying the Bills are having.
yeah.
No, I'm just saying the Patriots aren't as good as their record. Like that's.
Oh no, well I don't know. We'll see.
No, there's nothing standing in Josh Allen's way except for
Right. They have a clear path.
health and Bosa's out right now.
And this year there's no excuse, honestly, because now you got Mahomes
They gotta
out.
get healthy though.
You know, you got Mahomes out, and
Defense needs to get healthy because if defense doesn't.
yeah. I mean, that's.
I think they can come out of let's put it this way: they can come out of the East and get to the Super Bowl without necessarily being healthy. But I look at the top 4 or 5 teams in the NFC. You're not beating any of those without the defense being healthy. That's the problem. Health matters. But Josh Allen's a beast. Also in fantasy, we'll see what's up.
The Packers.
Your boys are playing the Broncos this week. That's not good for. They can beat them, but for fantasy, it's gonna be terrible.
No, man, that guy with Kyle Pitts, he's already advancing. You know, you got 50 points, so in our pool, then you got
Kyle
Bijan
Pitts?
with 36. So I think it's gonna be you two going forward, but anything can happen. There, thanks so much for joining us. Obviously, you know, we'll have Adara back on Wednesday. Sia hopefully was a little under the weather. Yeah, she'll be coming back on Monday and Tuesday, so we'll see when she comes back. Both Joe and Sharif, we're all ready to go. I think you have Tuesday off. I think next week.
Yeah, Tuesday I got an appointment.
I've got Fridays. Yeah, Packers and Rams. I think those are the top 2 teams in the NFL. I don't think there's any.
Right now, the Rams look the best on a week-to-week basis. I think nobody's hurt.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Nobody's hurt for them.
The Packers have 3 losses. So, okay, man, good job today. All right, go Bills. I guess I don't know who you're playing, but hopefully they'll win. And we will see everybody. Oh, it is Patriots.
Patriots this weekend.
Oh, okay. So there you go. Is it in Orchard Park? You don't know.
Oh, we already played them at home, I thought.
Okay, so then, wow. Bills v. Patriots, a big game this week, that is for sure, there for the AFC East. Okay, everybody. Thanks, Brendo. Everybody back there, man. Fabian, Ramin, Andre, Sharif, Joe, Adara, everybody. Thank you to our guests today, Steve Tileman. Thank you to Ogen for coming through as well. Michael Noss earlier today, and most importantly, thank you to everybody else over there. The Trader TV Live crew, thanks you. It's 8 a.m. on Monday. I cannot wait to come back with everybody. And I mean that honestly. Like, I love coming in to trade every day with everybody today. A 2-for-2 day, a pretty good one overall. We'll see everybody. Good luck to everybody this weekend. Give your loved ones a big hug, and we'll see you on Monday.
8 a.m., everybody.